Recording underway. It's time in 3, 2, 1.
I am Merlwyb, Bloefhiswyn, Admiral of Limsa Laminsa.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to Core, everybody. This is Core, mining all sorts of video game stuff that you don't think about during the week. So we think about it, we bring it here, we lay it out on the table, we dissect it, and we decide if it's for you, if it's for us, or maybe who it's for. I was supposed to do this. I wrote a thing.
It's for someone.
I actually wrote a thing. I was going to say, welcome to Core.
Podcast. It's for somebody.
I wrote this. I forgot to read it. I went, welcome to Core. This is to say, welcome to the only video games podcast that has 3 white bearded cis men. Oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Because there's lots of us. This exists in many forms. We are just one.
Yeah,
anyway.
we're not the only one.
Don't tell Sweet Baby Inc.
No.
We're not the only one, guys.
We
wanted to be.
Anyways.
We tried really hard.
Yeah, we wanted to be, but we are one of many, but we're the best, and you know it. We're here. We're going to talk about stuff. We got games to discuss and think about and do. I kept thinking, like, my wife's out of town since, when did she leave? 2 days ago? And she's not home till Tuesday. And whenever that happens, my first thought is, I'm going to get some serious game time in.
Uh-huh.
And it's only been true. It's only been true one night. Last night I played Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, I gotta hear about it.
Until very late in the night. I'll talk more about it when we get to our games we played, which we'll do here in a second.
Should I bring up your interaction with John from yesterday now or later?
You can bring it up now. What did he say? I forget.
Yeah, because we're recording on Fridays, listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Listening on, the live show we usually do Thursday, we record on Fridays, and Scott's like, I got a migraine, dude. And John's like, well, I have a very important appointment for my kid, a little inconvenient. And Scott, when we're sort of batting around ideas, and John's finally like, okay, I can make it work. He's like, what a bro. He's like, I'm going to move my schedule around, and we're going to record because Scott's not feeling great. And it's all fine. Normal interaction for us. We're all great people to each other. And then I comment like, oh, make sure to take a shower. I like to blast a hot shower into my eyeballs and take Tylenol. And you're like, yeah, and then like how, I can't remember how it got there, but you're like, yeah, Final Fantasy 14 gave me migraines. And then John's just like, what? And then you ghosted the chat.
Yeah, then I didn't talk after. I went to bed early. But I basically said, starting to come out of it, freaking sucked. I blame FF14. And then John's like, FF14 gives migraines? Question mark, exclamation point.
Yeah. And he took that personally.
I don't get these very often. I get these gnarly migraines about, I don't know, twice a year. And they're usually just so freaking, they're blinding. And yesterday was like that. And I was like, ugh. And the only thing I could think of that kind of maybe prompted it, it's usually either weather, like weather patterns, pressure changes or something will do it sometimes. And then sometimes it's just me doing something dumb for too long, like a video game way too long or reading a book way too late on a phone or something where it's straining your eyes. And in this case, I only have one thing to blame, which was Final Fantasy 14, because I played I guess it had been the previous night, but I played for like, I don't know. I got to level almost 30 in the same night.
That takes some time.
One from one?
Yeah. No, sorry. It was like 5. Oh, that whole other part of that. So I'm glad you said that because it's going to remind me to talk about how I even did that because it was on a new system. Anyway, long story. I'll get to that. But I played and got completely hooked on it. I'll explain why I'm doing it in a minute. It's John's fault why I'm doing it. Not his fault. He inspired it. I'll say it that way.
I thought you were going to say you got a headache from looking at the dragons in that game,
I mean, it's easy to because they're so bad, right? Although I haven't seen...
He hasn't seen a dragon.
I haven't. I've only seen a couple of big trees. What was the other big fight?
Couple of big trees.
Couple of big...
So you were in a zone.
Probably fought a ladybug and a squirrel.
Yeah, some of that. Definitely ladybugs and bees.
Mushroom, yeah.
I mean,
I thought maybe
Utah.
it was from... You were going to say you looked at the sun during the solar eclipse. Did you guys happen to catch the solar eclipse?
We did. 65% or so where John and I live, roughly. I think you were right around that. It was cool.
Went out, looked at it.
The full one would have been cooler, but we weren't here for that. We don't live in the South, but I think it went right across where you are, Bo. You were in the totality zone.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I missed it. I looked at the window a second too late, but it was dark. It was crazy how dark it was. I was like, wow, it's time for
Second
bed.
too late. I like the idea that it got really dark in Bo's room, really quiet, and he just went,
Oh yeah.
"All right, the eclipse," and then it was gone. The sun
That's
just came
pretty
back
much.
in
It
full.
pretty much nailed it, except like I was napping. The only part missing is the part where I was like, I woke up and I'm like, why is it so dark? What time is it? And then I was
Thought
like,
you
oh,
slept
shit.
all day. That's funny.
It's 3. What the hell's going? Oh yeah, solar eclipse. And then I look up at the sun, and I think, well, I didn't have any glasses, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to look at the sun. So that was
yeah.
owie.
Although
And,
somebody said if you have it in totality, you can look at it, but you have to be exactly in the totality zone. Like it has to be
I think
perfectly
that's
covered.
what I say. I think I missed it by a second.
I had
or so.
cool glasses, so I stared at it as much as I wanted to. The only
Yeah.
thing I had to worry about is I didn't want my son, who was running around, to see me looking at it because I didn't want him to get interested in it. 'Cause there's
Oh,
no way he was gonna look through the glasses.
right.
So I whenever I was looking at it, I had to do it when he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. Which is not hard with a kid that age, right? They're not,
No,
not
he's
always
just
paying
running
attention.
around.
I mean, he'll figure that out at some point. I remember I have a memory vaguely of like looking at the sun several times over and over to make the spots appear in my eyes. I thought it was cool.
Holy shit. When you were a kid?
Yeah.
Had any
You know.
repercussions? Are these glasses the
Like-
result, or was it just?
I don't know, maybe, but like, you look at the sun and you close your eyes and you see that big dot. You're like, whoa, what's going on with my body? Like that's that kind of kid things,
Well, you guys will like this. I'll put it in our Discord chat here. This is a breakdown of Google searches by region in the United States, anyway, on that day. And as you may notice, the purple is where the line of totality was, the path of the actual eclipse in totality, and that is also where most Google searches went to eyes hurt or why do my eyes hurt that day, which I think
That's
is
awesome.
utterly fantastic that happened because people are that stupid. Either that or they have bad glasses. I worried about that. Maybe people got cheap, crappy ones, and they weren't really
Yeah,
protected.
don't buy them from the dollar store.
No, I would not recommend that. Anyway, it was cool. I liked it, and I wish that was the reason I had a headache. But thanks to everybody for their patience. It's been 24 hours. I feel fine now, and that's good because I was a mess yesterday. It was just like not going to happen. In fact, I was typing to you guys, and I'm looking at all my typos now. I must have been so out of it. Like, look at the way I wrote.
Just please, guys.
I'm like,
let
you guys,
us not
I'm
record
dying
today, please.
I couldn't
Well,
even
you
barely
also
look at
had
the
the
screen.
gaming hangover, right?
Yeah, and I think that all
yeah.
contributed to it. My wife was gone, but usually when she's gone like this, I'm like, yeah, I gotta play, and it's in. Not that I can't play when she's here, but I don't feel. How do I put it? Like if she's here and she's alone watching some show or something, I don't feel bad if I'm down here.
You got the crust. You got because now that my mom is living with me, when I pull a 10-hour session and I don't see her for a while, then she comes down and sees me in my,
undies.
not my undies, just like
Naked?
I'm like,
Oh,
I've just been doing this thing for a while. You feel kind of like, yeah, so I'm still here. in this exact same position you saw me 10 hours ago.
yeah.
And gaming life, I guess. Sorry, you just
And
kind
you
of
got
feel
the Tetris effect on your eyes. You close your eyes and you just see Merlwyb Bloefhiswyn in your vision whenever it goes.
Oh, we
Closed.
gotta talk about her, dude. I got questions. Well, anyway, we may as well do that. Let's dive in to talk about games we played. I'm going to start with the one that's less questions around it. I decided I made a decision, you guys. Not that this was obvious going into it, but I really wanted to give it a stab. Sony has had their PlayStation Plus tiers for a while now, the new tiers, and they've been functioning. And I decided that I'd had enough time with it and enough time with Game Pass to make I think, a logical determination about where the value is between these two services.
determination.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can all take my word for this at home, or you can tell me to F off. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm here to tell you pretty resoundingly that if you're throwing $15 either direction, I'm just talking the middle tier on PlayStation, which is most of it. There's some retro stuff you can play if you pay the $19 and get some early access stuff and all that. But the main one, the one that's most Game Pass like, is the central one. Plus, I think it's called, or no, Plus Extra or whatever. It's another problem with it.
Plus extra premium. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the one. .com. Anyway, I used that as much as I could. I looked at almost every game I possibly could. I just really wanted to give it a workout. And then I've been doing the same thing with Game Pass. And it's not even close. The value in Game Pass is so much higher. Even if I didn't have an Xbox, I would prefer it because the PC lets me play 99% of those titles anyway. Very few console-only games on there. And I get more day and dates. I get more interesting games. Stuff pops up all the time that I'm like, oh, I wanted to check that out. I forgot that was even coming. Like, that's happening over here, and over here it just isn't happening. Even first-party title or first-party Sony stuff just disappears with no ceremony. There's no reason Spider-Man 1 that run the PS5 updated Spider-Man 1 game from 2018 gets taken off the service. That makes zero sense to me. Miles Morales is still there, but who knows how long, because they're weird about it. It's very temporal and strange. And for whatever good or ill about Microsoft's methods, I don't know. There are going to be a million opinions about that. This is not a brand thing for me. I just get more value out of Game Pass. There's just more stuff, and I can play it in more places and do more stuff with what I have where I have it. So
I think to play just a brief devil's advocate,
do it.
Maybe STEM and email. I think Game Pass is a fantastic subscription service that also comes with you get online multiplayer thrown in.
Right.
I think PlayStation's is the other way.
Yeah.
I think PlayStation's is their online multiplayer, pay for our servers service that has added benefits attached. I don't think it is, even though that's what it's marketed as, right? Like, you get games. I don't think it is the same thing. I don't think they can, at least internally, they don't look at it as the same thing. They don't go, this is our subscription service competing with Game Pass. I think they look at it as, this is us trying to give you more bang for your sub-buck to us.
All right. If that's what they think, they are probably wrong-headed and they need to rethink it. I don't know. I mean, this is a whole other issue about Microsoft's got pockets so deep they can buy up developers left and right and have content for days and make better third-party deals because they're spending more money on those third-party deals than Sony can. Sony just straight up does not have that kind of backing. They don't have that kind of money in the bank or otherwise. So it's not that they aren't big and popular and successful. They are. They're great. They're doing great. But having spent enough time in both places, if you can only get one, it's Game Pass like all the way. I can't even come close to recommending the other thing. And it's funny because most of these games many of the games that are on PlayStation Plus's extra level are on Game Pass already, plus a ton extra on Game Pass that just aren't over there. And there are also more indies on Game Pass. There's all these other reasons. Anyway, bottom line is, because I came to this conclusion and I was messing around with both, I ended up kind of dipping my toes in different games on both platforms. And I ended up trying, I didn't even know it had dropped there, but Dead Island 2 came to Game Pass. And this was a game I wanted originally because I was a huge fan of the original. But then it was exclusively launched on Epic instead of Steam. And I was annoyed by that, so I just sort of forgot about it. It is pretty freaking great, this game. It's on Game Pass right now. PC and console, and there were some stuff around when this first came out. There were a bunch of reviews that were like, "Oh, it's the jokes don't land," and this sort of thing. Well, I don't know if they played the first one, but the jokes didn't land there very well either. This just
No.
Techland's not really known for that, or weren't known for that. The game itself, fantastic. I can't even talk. The first person melee mechanics are top notch. If you're aiming for the head, you're going to cause more head damage. I have these Wolverine claws. He keeps coming up a lot today.
Popular man.
That I attach some electrodes to up my game, and I'm electrocuting dudes. I'm shoving claws through their heads and pulling the rest of their brains out, what's left of it. It feels like almost every swipe is unique, and I'm taking chunks of flesh off with where I hit it. So if I hit a guy in the head real hard with a bat, his jaw is now hanging loose when one of his eyeballs is out. If I slice him in the leg with a particularly sharp, sword or machete or something, his leg falls off and now he can only crawl toward me. So there's some strategy there. there are meat bombs, which is a cooldown based ability that lets me throw this capsule out that explodes in a shower of meat. And then all of the non-elite dudes will go over there and eat it, while I can pick them off slower on the outside and not have to take on a swarm all at once. These kinds of mechanics are what the game's all about. And the pacing's great. The story, yeah, it's stupid, and the acting's pretty bad. But I think it's meant to be that way. Like, it doesn't bother me. It's fine. It's freaking zombie game.
I mean, again, it's a sequel, and that seems very much in line with what the first one was. So
yeah,
I
it's
think
consistent.
There's a case to be made that if you're a fan of Dead Island, you're not there for the story and the jokes.
Right, exactly. I am there though for this is not a great showcase of it that I'm showing right now because it's nighttime, but the daytime graphics are really nice. You're stuck in like the really rich part of LA, like you're in Beverly Hills and just parts of LA that are just like super swanky. When the zombies hit, and there's also an earthquake at the same time that may or may not be person created. There's a whole sub story about that. Anyway, they've really recreated the city really well. They've created a lot of like fun ways to kill zombies. This video I'm showing right now, you guys will see in a second when it catches up, but you can pull a car battery out of a car and throw it at zombies. Now, here's the cool thing about that. It not only will electrify them just by throwing it at them, it also disables the car's alarm system so you don't attract new zombies by accident. And if there's water around, you can basically create your own electro zone and then throw it in there and take out like 20 of these guys with one battery. It's fantastic. That's just one of the little weird mechanics. There's all kinds of stuff like that where there are creative ways to dispatch these zombies. There's something fun about watching, really uppity rich people get the worst of the outbreak. They're really laying in on that. And some of these places, the environments are just beautiful. I want to live in like 90% of these houses they show. And you're going through a lot of homes, a lot of basements, a lot of pools. It's all a lot of hillside stuff because you're that part of LA. Anyway, I think Dead Island 2 is pretty rad. It doesn't have the cool opening video. It's got one, but it's not like the old one. That old one has that was such a banger, that intro movie they made.
It was good. It was also tonally completely disconnected from the video game.
It really was. It was nothing like the rest of the game. So in this way, I guess this is more true to this game because the one they have here is kind of campy, like the game is. I really like it, like a whole lot, and I think if you like zombie action games or movies, I guess, slice and dice kind of mechanics and stuff. I don't even have any guns yet. I think they come later because I am picking up ammo, but there's nothing to fire them with. I think
we
you'd
were
like
in
it.
America. How do you not have any guns yet?
I know, right? It seems a little crazy, but there's just some amazing like physics going on and just bloody dismemberment and just all the stuff you want out of your zombie thing. Your weapons break, but you're always finding new ones, so it's not a big deal. You also craft weapons. You can craft better mods for your weapons. All that stuff's back. Stuff to pick up everywhere. It's a cool game. I like it. It's on Game Pass, and I think I'm going to keep playing that.
It looks good.
Yeah, very pretty. No multiplayer that I know of. Oh, that may not be true. There might be co-op.
Game Pass seems exactly like where I would want to play this game.
Yeah.
This game is obviously going to come out. It's obviously going to cost full price because, I mean, I don't know that it did, but it looks like a full price video game.
Still is. I think it's $70 everywhere. Yeah.
I don't think that this is a game I would pay $70 for, but it's a game I'd love to play and goof around in for a little bit.
Yeah. It's a fun little sandbox. And that's exactly where I was at because it is coming to Steam now, or maybe it's already there.
Yeah, it's out 22nd April.
Oh, okay. So I got a little time.
So a week and a half.
But I'd thought about it on consoles. It runs really well. Frame rate on Game Pass. I played on the Series S in my bed, that weird setup I have in there. And
yeah,
that's why I have a headache. I don't know. Anyway, that ran really amazingly on there. I'm getting, 60 minimum frame rate, 120 on my TV down here on the Series X, and then the PC, runs whatever I need to run. So it's just a fun. John's right. It's perfect. It's perfect for this. It's actually kind of perfect timing. It's like, yeah, give Epic their year of exclusivity, whatever, have it be whatever it's going to be. And now let the masses have better access to this game. I think people will be surprised. It's a really good package. It's really fun. All right, let's get to Final Fantasy 14 and why this is happening. All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is John's fault. Not fault. I don't want to say fault. It's your inspiration.
Okay.
Because you had said many times, not the first time, but many times you had said the way to play that game is to stop playing it like you would Warcraft or really any other MMO. Play it like a Final Fantasy game. In other words, focus on story and character. And there are mechanics that are very, it's an MMO for sure, but don't think of it that way. And that was always hard for me. My first 3 stabs at this game always felt like, there's all this stopping and talking bullshit.
Yeah.
Let me keep moving here. Can I skip this? Oh, now I've missed a whole thing because I skipped it. What happened? I don't know, but I better do all these side quests. You don't need to do all the side quests. Like you don't even need to touch them. None of them. You don't have to touch one of them if you don't want. And you've always said this, and I've always just kind of had a hard time getting my head around just changing my own habits, right? My own way of intaking a game like this. And so I decided, as part of my experimentation with what was going on with Game Pass versus PlayStation or PlayStation Plus, is I installed this game in both places. It's on Xbox now, and it's also obviously on PC, and it's on PS5. And I wanted to also see if what all the hubbub from Kyle was about controller. He likes the controller support in the game.
Yeah.
It first sounded insane to me, but I gave it a shot. And I get why.
MMO with a controller?
I know, right?
Sacrilege.
And it works. It's very good. They've thought it out really well. I think they probably designed a lot of it around it, to be honest, because it really fits. And you need a modern controller for it. I mean, if we didn't have controllers with 4 shoulder pads or 4 shoulder buttons, 2 analog sticks, a D-pad, and a million other, this would never work in any other scenario, but it does now. Anyway, I tried it first on PlayStation 5. Ran fine. It's no problem. Getting used to the controls, whatever. Started an account on a free thing. And you could do that because if you have PlayStation Plus over there, that game is free. You don't have to pay for it. You just install it. The base game, I should say. So I do that. Played a bunch of it. Hopped over on the Series X. Did the same thing. Set it up. And I went, I wonder if this will just let me log in with my PlayStation 5 login credential, which is different than my PC one, right? So that'll be interesting. Let's try it. And I did. And not only did it work, but all the shit I'd already done, which wasn't much, I think it was 5-6 levels with that character, moved right over. It was just there. And I didn't know they did that. I thought there was going to be a problem because you can't even do this between Steam and the regular PC version. If you buy a Mac version, you can't run it on the PC. You got to buy it twice. It's like, ugh. They got all these hoops on PC side, but apparently on the console, they're just like, whatever, just put it where you want it. So anyway, I did that, and you don't even need Game Pass for this because this is a promotion for them to be on the new platform, and they just said, well, you just get it. So here it is, have it. And you get free 30 days, and I don't know, levels up to a certain point and all that stuff. I thought I was just going to dink around maybe doing their 5 levels. I ended up, like I said, playing all freaking night long. And I finally did what John said. I didn't skip a single cutscene. I didn't skip any dialogue on the main quests or class quests. I would go to my dude, talk to them. I would try not to let it bother me anymore that the elves all have tiny little heads the size of oranges on top of normal bodies. I tried to ignore that.
Be careful. That's what I play as.
I know.
Scott.
I know. I don't understand. Do you wear an extra big helm just to make up for that tiny little squid head they have? Because
I have some very pretty flowers in my hair.
Okay, excellent. I made one of those big brute dudes. I forget what they're called. What are they called?
Yeah,
big guys.
The Rogadin.
Rogadins.
Rogadin.
They speak to me for whatever reason, so I did them.
That does not surprise me. It's as close to Final Fantasy Orc as you can get.
It's very Orc, yeah. I don't know. I lean that way with games. I don't know why. So anyway, I get way far. I'm pushing level 30.
What job did you pick?
I started with not Marauder. What do they call when they're?
No, I think that's right.
Is that right?
Marauder. Or were you in Limsa?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Marauder with the axe.
Yeah. No, sorry. Pole arm. So I started in Gridania.
Dragoon. You were what is it? Lancer. Right?
Lancer, then Dragoons later, or Dragoons later.
Dragoon later.
Yeah. I don't know. I also really like that kind of stuff. I like pole arm stuff. I think that stuff's cool. Yeah. So that's why I did it. and knowing that I can jump around jobs and stuff later. Again,
Just try something different.
Especially unlike other MMOs, right? Like I'm trying to keep that brain space, because there are times where I'm like, I'm running around town. There's 5 guys dancing half naked. It looks like an MMO to me. Scott, focus. Just get to the, pretend this world is real and get to that next quest giver and take it seriously. So I've been doing that. I'm not skipping anything. If it's voiced, even better. I love that stuff. When it's not, I'm still reading every line, accepting the kind of story that it is for what it is, instead of me trying to apply a bunch of Western Blizzard-style storytelling tropes on top of it or wonder why it's not the same, because I think I did that before.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm really, really into it. Like, I'm early still, right? I'm still in Udall or whatever.
You're in the stuff that everybody says, oh, you just got to get through. So
right. But I'm having a good time with it. And more than I did the first time I got this far, and I've been further. I think I got as far as, what's the next expansion? Heavensward?
Next is Heavensward.
I got like mid Heavensward is as far as I've been. So I'm heading that direction again. We'll see what happens. But after I did that, I kind of didn't want to play anything else. So that's all I've done is play this game. So I don't know what this means. I have these moments, these eureka moments with games, sometimes long after their prime, where not prime, but after, everyone else was making their discovery with stuff. And I feel like this approach is helping. It's like maybe it was playing all these Japanese anime games prior to this or something that got me in the mood to handle a story like this or something. I don't know what it is, but it's working and I'm like into it and I look forward to the next bit. And knowing that I can skip all the side quests, it's not that I find them tedious. It's just treating this like I'm having a story-based single-player experience to start with. And also knowing that the dungeons are going to have AI-assisted dudes and I don't have to wait for people.
Yeah.
These are all pluses in me having a good time. So anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. And the cool thing is because playing it that way, you can, if you eventually are like, I'm not in the mood right now, put it down, come back to it just like you would a regular role-playing game.
Right.
Just come back.
You're not gonna miss raid for 4 weeks and then be out of the raid.
Right. Those kinds of things don't apply here. I mean, it can. Endgame can. There's a lot in FF14 that for people to do as guilds and things. But
even in Endgame, let me tell you, I skipped the last. I still haven't done the last Alliance raid, and I'm like, I should log in and do that.
Yeah.
And that's just something I will log in and do.
Yeah.
There's no crazy pressure. The raids, all of the raids remain relevant throughout the entire game's history. So it's just like, I'll just log in and do it. It's fine. And you run it with people. You just go in. You're like, hey, heads up, first time here. People be like, cool. We'll we understand. We will be rezzing you probably, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, the only complaint I have is these dragons are so freaking ugly. Like,
you haven't seen a dragon yet. You get there. You will think that when you get there, but focus less on their faces and more on their tail, and you'll be fine.
And
I don't mean their tail like whipping around. I mean their story.
Sure, and things like Granblue Relink or Fantasy Relink and these kind of other games with terrible names and terrible character names and stuff in them has helped me get past people like, when we play your thing again, this intro.
I am Merlwyb, Bloefhiswyn.
That's just such bullshit, that name. But I'm okay this time.
Good. I love Merlwyb. She's the best.
I mean, I'm into it now. Like she just used to bug me.
Some of their names are cheesy, man. Come on.
What's the name of the place she runs? What is it again?
Lominsa.
Yeah, there it is right here.
Bloefhiswyn, Admiral of Lominsa.
That's so stupid.
Lominsa.
It's so shitty. They want me to think that's like an amazing hardcore pirate place, and they name it that. It's so dumb. But that being said, I'm accepting it for what it is. And once you do that,
fantasy world, that's
right?
It's
the world I'm in.
It turns out they named it a place. They didn't call it Dark Dagger Cove.
Right.
Hey, welcome to the city of Dark Dagger Cove.
Right, and when you start to
they gave it a name.
Stranglethorn Vale and
Booty Bay and things like that. Yeah. Exactly. I'm used to that westernized storytelling, and I it made me not biased. Well, maybe biased is the right word. But it just made me less accepting of other ways to tell stories, and maybe ways that are affected by cultures that aren't mine and things like that. So I want to give this a real shot, and so far I'm really enjoying it.
No, I find it's gonna be controversial, but like from like the Japanese RPGs and stuff, like the way they name worlds is definitely, and like characters is sometimes just,
It's
I don't know if it's
cheeseball.
the localization people that do it, and or is it from there? But it definitely, I'm never loving the collection of syllables in a lot of cases, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just, I'm just like, I don't like those syllables, man. Like it's not even a cultural thing. It's not anything. It's just, I don't know. Those syllables are wiggity whack. Like but you just accept it and move on. It's not.
Well, what was the French general's name that you had to during the flashback of the big battle? Something Louis Suisse.
Oh, Louis Sois,
That makes me want to die.
the Archon. Louis Sois
It's a
Leveilleur.
great
Yeah.
example.
He's
Louis
great.
Sois.
I hate
Well,
it.
it's because there is a reason.
It's not
there-
French, by the way, Chad.
The
Louis is,
localization
not Sois.
Yeah.
put style behind it. Like there is a style. The elfin names tend to sound French in their delivery.
Yeah.
Whereas the cat people, there's a whole naming convention. Like this is where my lore brain gets me in trouble because I made a cat person one time and I was like, all right, I made my cat person. I'll call him, Reggie or whatever. But then you find out in the lore that that's not how they name their people. Like in lore, there's like a very strict like any cat person you see, for the most part, that's not a player, you'll see a letter, then an apostrophe, then a name. And there's a reason that they do that. And there's a way that's supposed to be pronounced because there is a lore reason behind it.
Okay.
So I find that out and I
Is there
go,
P
well,
apostrophe
shit,
tension?
now I have to go and name my character like that because that's how I am. I'm that kind of nerd.
I get it. No, I get
I
I
it.
can't just be the person that goes, all right, kitten mittens, did it, done, I'm in, let's go. Like
Yeah,
that's
no,
not
the
for
name,
me.
like you can't really brag about the naming convention of something like World of Warcraft when like one I saw was like Jugs Eater and I Love Girls and like just like people just name their
Jugs
characters the
Eater.
most- that was a real one, Jugs Eater.
Wow.
And we poo shitting. We had a pug in our group the other day called poo shitting.
How'd they spell
Shitting.
it? How'd they spell it with like a
D's,
Y?
like poo,
Oh, shitting.
POOSHIDDING. We're like, oh, what could go wrong? We invited a guy named Poo Shitting to our group.
Yeah. Well done.
I remember in World of Warcraft, one of the first names that made me go, what? That I ran into was a Tauren shaman called Thunder, and it
Thunderthighs?
rhymes with bunt.
Bunt. Oh.
And
Oh.
I was like, really? You
Like a
running
bundt
around with
cake?
that name?
Thunder Seaward.
That might fly in Europe, but this is an American
Wait,
server,
that
sir.
didn't get name violation.
I'm surprised they didn't ban that. That seems crazy.
I mean, my
they
Flappy
might
Pecker's
have
still in the
eventually,
game.
but they made it to the Barrens with that name. They got that close.
My
Yeah.
little pecker and my Flappy Pecker is still in the game.
Wow. Flappy Pecker. Remember that was a hot mobile game for a while there?
Well,
Yeah.
no, because as a hunter, you can now tame those those like lion wyvern guys.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
flight.
so I call them Flappy Pecker. Yeah.
Wait, you can do that in classic or in
In Season of Discovery, you can
yeah.
even tame corehounds now. There's like corehounds running around freaking everywhere. Anyways, just
Oh my
as an
gosh,
aside.
may as well be WoW. That's just modern WoW without the graphics now. If you can tame all that shit for a hunter, I guess they still have minimum distance on fighting though. So F that. Also, I don't want to buy arrows. But anyway, the point is, this game is cool.
Yeah, I came to raid with 20 arrows. It was not cool.
Oh, that isn't cool.
Sorry, guys. My DPS is going to be bad. I didn't bring arrows.
Yeah,
Although melee hunter is the best spec right now for.
really.
You're basically a Fury Warrior. Yeah. It's hilarious. The game's like so upsetting. Anyways, this is about Final Fantasy 14. I just wanted to bring up the fact that people in World of Warcraft have no hill to stand on when it comes to looking at names in Final Fantasy 14 because they name all their characters after boobs and poo poo. So
That's true. It's just, some of those names, it's not that they're terrible. Like what's the Louis Sois? What is it again? But
Louis
Louis
Swa.
Swa?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so, it's
this-
so
okay.
it hurts. It's like when you like put a needle in
Yeah.
like it scrapes a nerve. Like just hearing Louis Swa is like the verbal equivalent of that. It's
Well, that's my whole beef is that I'll watch like that really early, and I've seen it a few times now because I've played through it this far, but it's the scene where all the generals of the nations and stuff are trying to fight off whatever they're fighting.
Yeah.
And there's a big Death Star coming through the clouds, and there's these bombs going off. It's all very impressive, actually. And there's that weird cloaked guy that everyone keeps seeing and doesn't know what to make of, which turned out to be a really easy kill. But anyway, the point is, little shrimpy girl kept looking up at it and then looking back. And the one guy, she says, we've got to pull back. We got to save who's left. And he goes, and he's like super serious, that big general guy from Udall. He's like,
Raubon.
Raubon.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
we can't leave everyone. I refuse to leave Louis Swa to his death or something like that. It's like, dude, you can't say that with a straight face without me laughing. But here's the point. I'm laughing and having fun.
Yeah.
I'm not, it's not
You're
putting me
arguably
off.
being entertained. So
Yeah, it's not putting me off like it did before. It's actually kind of endearing.
When the Sultana sits up on his arm like a little bird,
Yep.
and he just puts his arm out and she just sits up on there.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
It's great.
It's terrible
I
and
love
great.
it.
Great and terrible.
Is it what we should do? Probably not. Do I love it? Yep.
Yeah,
It's really good.
it's hard to not like that. Some of that stuff. So anyway, I'm going to keep at it. I'm enjoying it. I can't believe how much I like this with a controller. I also tried it on PC with controller. It runs great. I think I get why Kyle likes it, and it's also I get my shoulders effed right now, and I think it's because of mouse stuff. So controller stuff's helping me more when I play. So I'm gonna do that for a while. All right. What else did I play now that that's out of the way? Oh, just a couple of quick things. Bo, you've never been more correct than you were last week about the game
hooray.
Spell Rogue. Spell Rogue is so fun. It's exactly the itch I needed scratching, or it's the scratch I needed for the itch I had. I've been looking for a game with dice that was like this. Like I want to roll dice and then have those dice directly affect the kind of shit I'm doing. It really is Dicey Dungeon, but pretty and serious in a lot of ways.
It's like Slay the Spire and Dicey Dungeon. That's the best.
That's the combo.
summary.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. And it's very good. This is big recommendation. Plays beautifully, perfectly on a Steam Deck. No issues. Great controller support if you're playing portable. Mouse and keyboard.
Actually,
Obviously
it looks
fun.
good. I think it has a good look to it too.
Yeah, it looks really
Pretty
good.
good.
And just this, dude, I don't know what it is, but when I get to roll three or four dice and then say, well, 6 of that is going to go into this fireball, and 2 of these, because I need odds, are going to go into this shield, but I need a 3. Well, I have an ability that'll pump it up by 1. So I'll do that. And this strategy of the dice part of it is something I really resonate with. So for whatever reason,
Fun how you can change the dice too, right? Like there's abilities that affect the way the dice work. So it's just, it's cool.
yeah,
I like
it's
it.
very, very good. Complete and total, like big thumbs up for me on this. And this inspired me to play more. I've been playing between this and Balatro, whatever. All my card needs are taken care of right now. It just feels real good to be playing these games. Also, Balatro added Mac support with a recent patch. I don't know when it was, but that's the end of me during meetings, because that's usually what I'm on when I'm meeting with people. So there's that. And also on Game Pass, I played Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. I'm not making a big deal out of it because I didn't play that much, 2-3 tracks, but I quite like that first one. And the second one is more of that, and it feels good and looks good. And I'm a sucker for, micro machines. It's not the same as that, but that kind of thing.
Wait, what's the game called?
Hot Wheels Unleashed 2.
Oh, so yeah, because I saw that tweet where there's Tiny Tires that's coming out.
Oh,
looks
that I'm
really
getting.
cool.
I'm 100% playing that when that comes out. That looks amazing to me.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're playing that because you saw Tiny Tires, and I need to play a tiny car game.
Just kind of got in the mood, for a little something, a little racy something. So I have been playing that.
But if you're listening, do yourself a favor on Steam. Go check out Tiny Tires and tell me this isn't
Dude,
awesome.
I don't know if I just have very specific nostalgia for those Micro Machines games. I must have, because the look of that game is just, it's everything. It's like I see a car drive through some Elmer's glue and leave like a little Elmer's glue smear. and they're using floppy disks to climb up to the next level, and
it's what you do when you're playing with those Hot Wheels as a kid, right? Driving them over calculators and on the spoon, and it's the game version of that. It just really sort of tweaking something in my brain of like, oh, it's just
here it is right here.
Childlike fun of racing little cars.
Yeah, and you got kitchen table. Look at all the cereal and forks laying around. Look at these cars racing through this shit. Of course, milk slows you down. Honey gets you stuck for a minute. You get stuck on a Cheerio. Now you're out on the beach. You're going through some sand castles. Like this is this is like a photorealistic version of what they tried to do with those old games, but they were ugly. They were on Genesis and shit. It didn't look good. And this looks so good.
It's the same thing that always got me excited, even though the games never quite lived up to it for me, is like the Army Men series.
Right.
I've always just been a fan of the, you're playing from the toys perspective in a tiny thing in a big world. Like, I just really, really like that aesthetic.
Yeah.
It was very popular for a long period of time and has kind of fallen by the wayside. I'd love to see it come back.
Yeah. Maybe a little comeback is happening. This looks like a game that might do it. And I'm all in. Bring it on. I think it's the reason Toy Story was a popular franchise. It's like, here's a crazy idea. Your toys are alive. What do they do when no one's looking? Like, that's the concept, right? So why not? More of this. All right, John, you played one of the NieR games. The one I haven't played.
Yeah, let me just be full disclosure here. Our Discord was just popping off as it usually does. And somebody posted a GIF of NieR Automata of 2B walking around with her butt showing.
Yeah.
And I went, I should play NieR again. And I should give it a college try. And then I went, you know what? I've tried to play NieR a lot of times, and I have both NieR Automata and I have NieR Replicant. What if I gave Replicant like an actual go? Because I played it a little bit, and then I think I didn't dislike it or get stuck or anything. It was just one of those games that I played, and something else came out, and I didn't go back to it. And I decided to go back to it, and I made it a lot further. And Scott, I think it was last week you mentioned something about playing games like of an era. And while this is, modernized a bit in terms of graphics and whatnot, the version we got of this game was very different, and that's a whole thing you can look up and see how much they changed in the localization of the original version of this game. It's shocking.
The first version of NieR was just called NieR, and it was a Xbox and 360 game, and it wasn't. I mean, well, you just said it. They changed a ton of shit, right? Like story-wise.
Your main character was this giant-looking dude because they didn't think you'd want to play as a young boy-looking character. I believe the guy was looking to help his daughter instead of his sister.
Yeah.
And it just very big changes narratively. This gets back to what the game was originally intended to be. Good buddy of the show, Liam O'Brien. I've always said that if I meet Keanu Reeves, I might be in trouble because it makes me feel like we're best friends because I played Cyberpunk 2077 so many times.
Yeah.
This might have the same effect with me and Liam, where if I meet him again, I'm going to be overly familiar because he plays
he's the book,
Grimoire
right?
Vice,
Yeah.
the book that accompanies you on your journey.
That's right.
And he's fantastic. Like, he just has something to say about everything you're doing. And he's a little snarky in a way that I like. There's an old woman that's like, I'm going to deliver my mail. You deliver my mail. He's like, please tell me we're not going to deliver her mail. Like, do not help this lady. This lady's annoying.
Yeah.
He's great. And a really great performance from him. Actually, if you like Critical Role, all of the Critical Role,
they're all in
it's
here.
It's like they were in the middle of a game and they came in with audio equipment and just said, record dialogue for our game. Because every time I turn around, I'm popping into one of them.
Yeah.
But lots of Liam in there. And it's a lot of fun. Now, it feels its age a little bit. Like you said, this is like early Xbox 360, I think, maybe is when it came out.
Yeah, pretty good.
So there is a part of me that as I play it is expecting a level of novelty because we've seen so many games like this that nowadays when they make a game like this, it feels like there's something they're selling you on with it. It's like, okay, well, it's one of these, but here's the twist. This game doesn't really feel like it has that big of a twist because it came out in a time where like the twist was they made a game like this. So sometimes it can feel a little simplistic, but right now it's just scratching an itch for me, which is kind of a sprawling world, doing side quests, fighting things, kind of an action-y style game. An interesting story, though it is slow moving. That's just compelling enough to keep me going, and I'm really liking the characters that are in it. So I'm still, I mean, I say I'm early, but I've put in, let's see how much time I've put into this thing. I've put in 12 and a half hours. So
Oh my
now
gosh.
that is two attempts to play it. That's not just on this one run because I did
okay.
try it before.
Yeah.
So to be fair, that's not just for this, but 12 and a half hours, and I do still feel like we're building on the story right now because it has kind of one of those start in the middle type stories where it's like, what's going on? And then it cuts to before all that went down. But it's very compelling, very interesting, and I'm just having a good time with it. And I think if I can beat it, next stop is NieR Automata. So we're going to get to it.
That game, I got real far in Automata, but I'm just not that. I mean, I didn't finish it. I feel like I could, though. I really like that game. Too many invisible walls, though. I hated that.
There are a lot of invisible walls.
Yeah.
This one, I haven't run into any invisible walls, but it definitely feels in the same vein as Final Fantasy XIV, where you're aware that you're in like kind of widening and shortening hallways all the time. Like you can see that there's more to the world, but it does a good job of not blocking you with nothing, but making it clear like you can't go over there.
Yeah. I have that problem in the other. I put more time in. I just didn't bring it up again. But the what's the freaking game? Darksiders. I was playing more Darksiders 2 and 1. Speaking of Liam, and there are lots of places where I'm like, that looks like a cool place to go, but I'll bet it's an invisible wall. And I'll go over there and go, well, shit. So can't go past it. That was just a thing back then. But it is interesting what you're saying. There's something about that era that is still compelling. Like there's some sauce in that. Those old third-person hack and slash kind of vibes that I don't feel as much in newer stuff. And I don't know why. Just feel nostalgic for it, but that's cool. So NieR Replicant. Version 1.224744871939.
Yep, that's right. Got it.
Yeah, I memorized it.
And so
Just
on
kidding.
and so on.
Yeah, and so on.
Which is what I assume the dots at the end imply. That like, okay, naturally, this is version 1.224744871939, and so on and so on. Need I say that?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. What else did you get up to? Anything else? Capture your,
some quickies this week. I'll mention Fortnite. I said last week that I couldn't imagine a world where they decided to give the Avatar kids guns to run around and shoot each other. And let me tell you, they were not shy about it. Turns out if they're going to ask you for money to do that, they do. They don't care. They'll give those kids guns.
Yep.
Because while the Aang event doesn't start until actually today, so that might actually be live now, they had a Avatar bundle, and you can play as Zuko, which is fine, because I feel like if Zuko had access to a gun, he would have 100% used a gun. But you can also play as Katara with a gun, and Toph with a gun, and it's it's really funny to me. Like, it's fine. It wasn't as jarring as I thought it would be, but there was a level of like, seems like a young crowd running around with shotguns shooting each other just a little bit.
Do you come in on the big Bantha thing, whatever it is, the flying?
I believe that's going to be a part of it, because there was a video that came out, and it looks like Appa is going to be a like one of your landing things. You can ride on top of him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Did you watch the Lady Gaga concert?
No. What happened?
No.
In Fortnite?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't realize she did one. I knew there was a Lady Gaga event. Like she's.
I just went to
right
Fortnite.com while you're talking about it to look at some of what you were saying, and I noticed there was a Lady Gaga concert. I was like, oh, she's. In the
I
new
might
Joker
check it
movie.
out. Some of that stuff is actually really, really cool. So.
I'm looking at the. Let's see if they have. Oh, they do have it. They have her. I don't know. Maybe
the trailer, all of the avatar people are conveniently only using bending, which you can do in the game right now, but
Right.
it is a selectable weapon, just like a shotgun. So it's not like you pick Katara and all you can do is water bend. You pick Katara and she still will pick up a handgun and shoot you with it.
Wow.
Do you think it's bad that they have kids shooting people in the game?
I think it sometimes looks uncomfortable, but at the end of
I
the
guess
day,
the kid's
like
getting shot, right? Like you're like, I can't wait to kill that little bastard avatar, right? Like,
yeah, it's like Aang running around. It's like shoot him now. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know if I want to shoot Aang, but the game moves so fast. It's third person. Half the time, I don't even realize who I'm shooting in that game.
yeah, it's
so.
it's imbalanced against biased against people with consciousness. If you play as a child character, people are not going to want to.
That's actually a
They're gonna
decent
hesitate
strategy.
when
Yeah,
they pull the
I
trigger.
didn't think of
Yeah.
that.
morality.
It's the first
you'll
time,
know.
really,
If
right?
If you lose, it's because you lost to psychopaths. That's why.
Can I play as like a baby, like Stewie or something? Like they won't shoot me.
Oh,
They
so
did
like,
do
oh,
a
it's a baby.
Family Guy connection, but they
Did
did
they?
not include Stewie.
No Stewie. I was gonna say, I think this is the first time children, quote unquote, fictitious or otherwise, have been depicted in Fortnite. So it is new.
Graph Dark says it's just their adult stunt doubles. That is true. I will say they are sized up. Like they aren't running around like kids, but I'm familiar with the work enough to know that those are children.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't.
They're definitely adolescents. I just know there's some a-hole that gets killed by Aang and then says, I'll make sure he's the last airbender. And then he goes back out and just murders the thing. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Even if they don't know it, Bo's right. There's some bias there that'll probably work in favor of you being Aang.
I mean, look, let me be incredibly clear on what I am saying and what I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I bought the pack.
Right.
I'm not morally opposed to this. So
Right.
before anybody's like, John, he's saying I bought it because I like Avatar.
Yeah.
Like I did. I can play as any one of these characters. I'm just saying that despite the fact that I paid for it, despite the fact that I play the game, part of me that like thinks about it when I'm playing the game. It's fine.
Sure. Yeah. It's
We
all,
are complicated beings. We can feel multiple ways about a thing. That's
Yeah.
all.
Wait, is Zeus a character in Avatar?
No, but right now they are doing a Greek gods thing.
Oh,
so
okay.
there's a lot of Greek god skins running
Is it
around,
like
too.
part of the normal game mode for them to have superpowers, or is it a special game mode?
So during the seasons, they usually will put in some like superpower abilities themed to whatever the season is. So
Mhm.
this season is all Greek gods, so you can get like Zeus's lightning bolt, you can get Icarus's wings, and it's just stuff themed to what's going on. But then when the season
Oh.
shifts, those items go away and get replaced with something else. So when
Okay.
Star Wars is going, you can get lightsabers, stuff like that.
but it's also, but you don't have to be Zeus to have the bolt. Anybody can pick it
No.
up. Okay.
No, Zeus is just a skin and a boss in the game if you want to fight him.
So if you're RoboCop, you can pick up Zeus's bolt and throw it at somebody.
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
when they teamed with Dragon Ball Z, you could be whatever character doing Kamehamehas. It's great.
Wow.
Well, I'm looking at this Avatar, these special abilities, and I'm like, why would you play Plunderstorm?
I mean, that's
You know
the
what I
thing,
mean?
right?
Like, I'm just like,
Plunderstorm is really just for WoW people to not want to
Yeah.
leave their game, but do some of this stuff other people are
'Cause
playing.
this like looks like amazingly animated and stuff. I'm just like it looks so like I'm a little bit of a Fortnite hater, but I'm watching this trailer for the Fortnite Avatar and I'm like, it looks like I'm watching a cartoon. Like it's pretty sick. Like it's actually
Yeah.
pretty impressive what it looks like. So
Oh, Fortnite's the deal, man. They're making. I mean, they have so much money. That better be the good. They better have the best.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
it's
I'm
true.
just saying it looks good, but obviously it's the Unreal Engine that's powering this thing, and that's their whole business is making sexy ass graphics. But you know,
Right.
it's well, I shouldn't say that with trailer with kids in it, but you know what I mean.
I wish their second priority was making an Unreal Tournament game, but I'm never going to get it.
I mean, I do think that there is something impressive about how Fortnite can include skins that look like Fortnite characters or look like something in the Fortnite style, and then you can see the Avatar kids running around cell shaded and looking cool in the same game.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
like I think that stuff is cool, and I still
It's-
hold
it's
out hope
basically
that
VR
one
chat.
day Unreal will decide, you know what, we need to go after the boomers again, and they will do a season themed around Unreal. Please do it.
Yeah.
I would be so all
they
in.
just
and
get
I
all
could-
the shooter guys, I guess. But it's really looking more and more like VR chat every season.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm Megatron running around with Shredder's cape on my back.
You and I,
Like,
in
yes,
5 years'
absolutely.
time, in 5 years' time, you and I will unite as both VR chat and Fortnite
They're gonna
enjoyers
meet
together
at some point. They're just gonna meet. You're gonna hit a wall and go, "Is that Bo on the other side of that wall?" And you'll be over in VR chat waiting for him. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
all right, John.
So
Sounds like you had a good time in there.
I did that. I tried Granblue Fantasy Relink, and I think it looks really good, and it looks like a game I want to play. I got about 10 minutes in. I was talking to people on an airship.
Yeah.
And thinking, man, this game's pretty and looks good. And then my son went in and went, Dad, come on. And I went, I'm just playing a game. Dad, come on. And I went, I don't think I'm going to be able to enjoy this game the way I would like to. And I turned it off. So I'm mentioning it. I'm going to get to it. It looks incredible.
It does.
It seems like it plays fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't say enough about the art. The art style of this game is just crazy.
I know, dude. I would love. You know what I want is even Final Fantasy redid their engine. Even like this is beautiful. Not that you can go 1-to-1 on an action game engine and say this would be a good MMO engine because it doesn't work like that. But it is pretty. It's like just so it feels like you're in an anime, but also it's clearly you're looking at a lot of 3D cool stuff. It's really something.
Yeah,
Beautiful
and
game.
it has a sketch / painted look that I just really like the style.
I think it's hard. What they achieved visually is actually kind of hard to do without it looking not bad, but just like, oh, you tried too hard to make it look like a cartoon. Sometimes these games make me feel that way. This does not.
Yeah.
This game looks like, I don't know. The art team is on point. It's real good.
So I'm anxious to get back to it. I need to, but I'm not in a place right now where I get a lot of time. And this definitely, I was feeling the build up to it and went, I'm going to have to come back to this one. So what I ended up playing was a lot of Balatro, because that's a game where I can say, hey buddy, you want to sit down and watch YouTube? And he'll go, yep. And he'll sit next to me and watch YouTube, and I can get away with Balatro. And if he all of a sudden starts going, Daddy, look, I'm not being distracted from a narrative game. I'm just being distracted from a hand of cards.
And there's no countdowns. You can leave a run midway and it won't care. It'll just save you there. Like, that game's the perfect casual, I got other shit to do game. I love it. It's really good at it. I love
Balatro. It's the dad game of the moment for me, because it's what allows me to still be a dad and feel like I get to play a video game every now and then.
Yeah, maybe dad game of the year. It's real strong.
Yeah,
that guy, man. One guy makes this card game, comes out of nowhere, is a millionaire based on the numbers, just on the review numbers alone. Like how many people bought this game? Psh, that dude's swimming in it. Did it all in a weekend, Bo. Just big full game programmed in a weekend. Now balls in your court.
Bo's like, maybe you should have taken a second weekend to learn the rules of poker.
All right, just meme away. Come on.
Meme. Bo, let's forget about memes. Let's talk about what you did.
Yeah, apologies to all the listeners who look forward to the new game I might play. I'm turning into a boomer and just playing the classics.
Yeah.
Well, Phase 3 launched Thursday last week, so you'll have to pardon me, as the first week of a phase in World of Warcraft Classic tends to consume my attention, and this one I'm in full degeneracy mode this week, guys. Like, pretty bad.
Yeah.
This season has been a lot of fun, or this phase of World of Warcraft Classic has been fun. So first things first, this is probably what led to the degeneracy, but you guys know Sul'Thraze the Lasher in Sul'Thraze, the weapon, the two-handed sword.
Oh, yeah.
It's 2 different swords you have to combine to make an epic two-hander, but the 2 swords have a 1% drop rate or less than. They might have buffed it a little bit, though. I'm not sure about that, but originally they had a 1% drop rate, so I got the first sword, like, day 1.
What?
And I'm like, well, now that I got sword 1, I got to try for sword 2.
Yep, that'll
And
do it.
and
That
I got
sounds
sword.
like a degeneracy opening door opener right
And
there.
I got sword 2 on day 2. Quite
Oh my
rarely, like
gosh.
pugging. I was like tanking. I'm just like forming my own groups. And what's kind of cool is that there is a reason to do these dungeons in phase 3. You get there's an extra boss that you have to summon. It's part of getting one of your runes, but also you can buy some powerful items. So you're encouraged to run dungeons several times and get wild offerings. And so I was like, well, I'll go get a wild offering and take a shot at my Sul'Thraze. And so I ended up getting both swords and a pug on Sunday. And I'm like, I've got one of the rarest swords in the game right now. and you know, people are like commenting. They're like, oh, nice. They all know what it is. It's an old ass item, but it's, you know, cool. I got Sul'Thraze and I'm walking around with my big old sword. And that just led me into playing a lot because now I got this big old sword. I need to go and smash things with it.
That's how they get you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
but,
what was I gonna say? So if you got it, you got the whole thing in 2 days, and there's that low of a drop rate, even if they buffed it, that seems insane.
I've only seen one other one on a human paladin. It's like it's something you got to farm for a lot. Like I kind of won, assuming the drop rate is the same. I won the lottery. Here's what it looks like. It's on my. You see that?
Yeah.
That's my character.
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
Look, hold on. Let me pull you up full screen. There he
Yeah,
is.
That's the sword.
That thing's a beast. To move over,
And
Cloud Strife. Look at this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
use
And
it.
and
That
see those
looks like a
skulls
cloud
skulls at the end animate. So it's like it's a unique weapon enchant that no other sword has in the game. So it's just like.
Are you
I feel
wearing
like
a
badass.
diver's helmet? What is that helm you're wearing?
Yeah, that's a new item from season 2, where it's a diver's helmet. It's my plate helmet
Wow.
to protect my torn face.
Wow.
I look ridiculous. It's awesome. Like,
That's pretty great.
but yeah, I got my big ass sword. So, and that's my character.
That seems crazy.
But-
That tells me you're never going to be able to win a lottery because your chances of something super rare happening just happen with this.
That's just my luck. All the rare shit I
burned it
get is
up.
low value for sure. But,
Yeah. So how many runs did this take then? Per half?
Total for both halves is probably 7. Which
Man.
is
That's
not,
an insanely small amount of
That's
runs.
nothing.
yeah.
Wow.
I got hit with the WoW lottery, so I'm like, and then I'm like, well, I'm taking this sword, and you know, so first of all, the new phase is fun. At the start of the new phase, you want to get all your runes. That's exciting. The second thing that happened is nightmare incursions, because they're not PTRing it really. They're doing some, but like they're launching shit busted. So nightmare incursions were awarding like a shit ton of gold, and on launch day, everyone was like, "Nightmare incursions, gotta do nightmare incursions." And I think some people made like hundreds and hundreds of gold. I didn't find it that fun. I went to go get this sword instead. I feel like I'm the real winner, but but still, a lot of people were playing nightmare incursions, and those are it's interesting content. It's fun. It juices you up, but it's pretty simple at the same time too. It's like Timeless Isle stuff, basically, just as a TLDR.
Wow, man.
But yeah, no, there's interesting things to do. So I got that. There's nightmare incursions, but I'm doing wild offering runs. We've been running lots of Marden because you can get your Dark Moon cards. You can get wild offerings are good for Dark Moon cards, etc. So I'm working on that, and I've made like maybe 400 or 500 gold. I spent some to get my fiery weapon enchants and stuff. I'm like, I'm so ready for raid tomorrow, which is Sunken Temple. And we have a sign-up sheet going. If you're in the guild, make sure to sign up on the sign-up sheet. I want to make sure we have 20 because we're doing our first 20-man raid as the core guild, community guild tomorrow.
Congrats to you guys. That's great.
So I hope we have the numbers. But yeah, there's lots of neat weapons. And I think Phase 3 in particular, the questing opens up like at level 40 to 50. There's shit to do in like a ton of zones. So now, you know, I'm doing the nostalgia run of all the quests, right? The good and the bad ones.
Yeah.
And I've just been playing kind of nonstop since last week's episode. Like, I haven't done much else but play World of Warcraft in the past week. So if you've got any questions about 20-year-old retro classic WoW, then you feel free to ask me.
I'm
Yep.
your man.
Bringing back the instance. This is episode 1 of the instance 2.0 with BEAU and nobody else. So
It's kind of crazy. There's parts of that game that you forget are like harder. Like Jinthalor is like full of elite mobs, but that I think isn't the case in later iterations. So it's like all the quests are like ridiculous in there.
yeah,
Yeah, and
that's great. I love that you're having this kind of fun. I don't think it's weird at all. I think it's awesome.
I mean, you know how it is to get in the WoW hole, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm fully in the WoW hole. The
Tell
nice
me
thing
about
is,
the WoW hole.
it makes you go, wow.
Wow.
Um,
Look at his soul.
but I'm fully in the WoW hole. The nice thing is though, is like because it's given out in dribs and drabs, like, I will run out of things to do, and I don't think I'm going to do any alt business. It's just too much now. Like this phase has really expanded the scope of things that like running alts is like definitely. I don't know. I don't think I can do it, but I'm really enjoying, going hard on this season, just doing quests and the overall vibe of it, and the new remixes. Like Sunken Temple's a raid, man, and they overtuned it really badly. The enemy the big thing in there is that a lot of the bosses had more health than like Ragnaros, which is like your giant raid in Molten Core.
Yeah,
and they're like, so they've like nerfed it like twice now in the first week that it's been out. I think there might be more fixes coming too. So, I'm glad we're starting after the nerfs.
Maybe they saw how quick you got that sword and went, "Oh shit, we've nerfed it too far." Bo has the sword already.
No. It's the sweaty. The sweaties are in there. Like the sweat. Like basically the sweaties. What they do, they plan before the patch, and their max level within like 10 hours, and they're raiding the same day as like launch. Like, which I like, because the big thing I don't like about retail raiding, or in the past years, it's like, okay, so the patch is out, and you're gonna get a wing a week. And it's going to be super slow dribs and drabs. I like that they just barf it all out on launch day. It's like, here it is, warts and all. Like, it's just great.
Yeah.
So I could play hard for a couple weeks and enjoy it, and then be like, okay, I'm done. And when the next phase of content comes out, then I'll play it.
Then you'll be all in again for a couple of
I
weeks.
like this method of playing the game. It's certainly worked on me.
Yeah. Apparently you were the perfect mark for this,
I don't know. I don't know. I think probably I just also, perfect mark in that I had a time freed up and I got sucked in. The biggest thing is just playing with people. I like multiplayer games.
Yeah.
And Heroes has died out, and I haven't had a really solid multiplayer experience. And the guilds, I gotta say, we got some great listeners that are pretty good at Warcraft and are nice, and it's just encouraged me to keep playing. So that's a big part of the draw.
Yeah,
if everyone was a bunch of buttholes, I probably would have dropped it.
Yeah, you wouldn't be in there if they sucked. So it's class
like,
X.
I gotta play with those like losers. Like, like I'm not gonna log in. Like they're terrible or whatever. But that's not the case. I'm just saying, if that was the case, and I felt really badly about it. Except I wouldn't say it. I'd say something nice.
Yeah,
Sorry,
of course you would.
I'd just be like, well, I'm interested in some other things.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
But
well, that's good. So we know where you were at. I almost forgot to mention this. That stupid AFK journey game. Phone game thing that John John was sure I would be done with.
Comments about that?
Yeah,
so Ding Desert?
I hit a Ding Desert, and now what I do, that game is a game that I open up once a day and collect all the gold items and level up material that accumulated during the AFK time, which is the whole point of that game. So all the time I was offline, it accumulates a ton of stuff. And then when I cash that all in, I can go level up my main heroes a bunch. And now I'm back on track, or can be back on track. That's taking more and more. Sometimes it takes 2 days of that stuff to make any real difference. But that's how I'm playing it. I'm not really playing it. I'm just sort of get in, collect, shut it. Get in, collect, shut it. And then if there's enough, I'll go, okay, well, let's run this for a minute and see how we do. And then if I hit another wall, I'm like, all right, well, I'm off until they collect more stuff. I'm not spending a dime on that shit. Not one dime.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a real blast. It's a party.
A time.
You call that a party?
We talked about the stupid banana,
Good job.
that banana fruit fly earlier. Now there's one in here.
Yeah.
Frick.
No, it's gonna be fine until it's like 8 days. Trailer Park Boys, Greasy Money was like this. Like, it's just one of those games where it's like, okay, you set everything up and then you leave it, and then it gets progressively longer and longer until you're like logging in and be like, do something, game.
Yeah.
Light up something ding, do something. And it's like, well, if you buy some hockey pucks,
Yeah.
for just $29.99,
We'll do something.
and then you buy it, you get some dings, and the game didn't get better. It's like, well, it's back to slow. You're gonna get there. You'll get bored of it. I know.
Oh, I guarantee I will.
That's how all these games work.
You'll get bored of not playing a video game.
Yeah. I thought it'd be
You'll
honestly
get bored of having one more daily chore in your life.
I mean,
thought-
honestly, I bailed on Rumble. Like, I like Rumble a lot. And, like, all I got to do is beat Onyxia. There's a guild in there. There's stuff to do. I logged in. I said, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not logging in anymore. There's nothing to do. I don't want to PvP. And there's no progression content except killing Onyxia, which is like 8 levels away, which if you math it out on paper, it will take me 12 months of logging in every day. I'm going to go live my life.
That's not a good
Goodbye.
game when they do that. And this thing
It
I'm
was
playing
great
is
up
not.
until it got shitty. Yeah.
That's the thing. There's so much talent and raw, cool stuff in some of these. I think AFK Journey has a ton of really amazing art and like direction and ideas and all that. It's so hamstrung by its number one way of making money. It's so hamstrung.
They're probably making a lot of money and can hire really
yeah.
good talent to make those games. Like that's not a coincidence. They are good games.
Yeah, we're raging against a working machine, and I hate that.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, it's. I don't think it'll last forever. I think there's a lot of goodwill being burned.
Yeah.
From some of the good things that had happened in like the 20 to 2000s.
Yeah.
And 2010s that people are bringing with them that are gonna. It's gonna burn up. People are tired of getting ripped off.
I think so too. I think this stuff can only go so far, and you're going to have a big pullback. Yeah.
Groceries are going up. Everything's getting more expensive. Like I just don't. I think there's a lot of people who defend that stuff. I've been that before, where you're like, yeah, but I like this one, or yeah, it's okay, but like, eventually that'll burn out. Eventually, like
That's right. We'll all be playing Balatro in a year. All right. Well done. We're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, are we doing Dear Martha today? I can't remember. Are we? No. Yes.
No. If you guys want to give me a Martha topic, I'll think of something.
I can give you one.
Okay. Well, we'll get to it when we get back.
We have to remember it now, Scott, for a whole 20 minutes.
Just got to remember it through a bathroom break. That's all.
I think I can do it.
Write it down.
I'm going to write it. Well, I kind of had an idea, but then I realized it's not actually something I want to hear John. I don't want to ruin John's time.
I don't want to hear.
You can do whatever you want. We'll find a way to try and make it fun.
All right.
Technically, it's not John that's talking about it. It's
a letter. It's not me.
He is an actor.
Don't send me your emails. I simply read the letter aloud.
I'm going to think about it while I pee.
Maybe there's an email. Do we have an email that John could deal with?
Oh, we probably could. You want to? Let me pull something out of the email,
Do
just like
whatever
randomly.
you want, Scott. We'll make Dear Martha Scott's choice today.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I like Bo's
Great
idea.
movie.
We're gonna combine these things. Here you go. Here we go. Wait, that's not
We're gonna
it.
take a break first, though. So
Yeah, we'll take a break. You figure it out. We'll take.
All
a
right,
break.
we're going to take a break either way. When we come back, all that shit we just talked about will happen. All right, so come back in a minute, everybody. We'll be right back. All right, pausing. I'll have my idea.
All right.
While we're,
I'm good with whatever you want to do. If you have.
All right, we're returned, everybody. So, John, I produced for you an email that we got from a guy named Derek, and I'll let you handle this however you want. You can read it as part of the segment. I can read it now, and then you respond.
Well, why don't you read it, and I'll respond.
All right, I like it. That's a good idea. Here it is. This came from Derek, and it says, quote, "Can we talk about how iPads are like crack for little kids?" He sent this to our core email. "I've tried to raise my kids in a household full of quality video games. We have all the award-winning Nintendo titles in our house and multiple PCs where they can play Stardew Valley or Minecraft or a host of other quality video games. Despite all of that, we have one iPad in our house. I refuse to buy more. And they continually fight over it just so that they can play the cheapest, ad-filled, most terrible mobile games imaginable. I really don't get it. Maybe you can help," says Derek. Well, what do you want to do there, Martha? You want to help him out?
All right, let's play some. Here's
All right, I would do that if I had it in front of me. There it is. Whoop, there.
My dearest Martha, I write to you alarmed, upset, and bewildered. You sent me a photo recently of our children's room and my wonderful SNES Mini still collecting dust untouched from when I left it. Yet I hear all these stories about how our children enjoy video games. How can this be, Martha, when the SNES goes untouched? Do they not know the joys of Mario Kart? Do they not know the joys of Breath of Fire 2? Of Super Mario World. Who doesn't want to be a child and mount Yoshi? Martha, what video games are they playing?
Rusty Jeep is all I can think of right now.
If they aren't playing Chrono Trigger, then what are they doing? They keep asking for more money so they can buy gems and coins and grifter bucks. What are these things, Martha? There's no grifter bucks in Super Metroid. Just a wonderful gaming experience, pure and simple. Reminded me of my youth. Martha, it pains me to think these children might not grow up to be me. Please fix this, or I shall not be returning home. This is a Nintendo household. Maybe Sega Genesis. Yours in this life and the next. Classics man, Dan, 23.
Nice.
Well done, dude.
That's great. His
Yeah,
improv is
excellent performance.
top shelf improv lately. Very good.
Yeah.
Also, you
Who
taught
would
us a
not
little
wanna
bit of
be
a lesson.
Child and Mount Yoshi.
That's right. But you also taught a little bit of a lesson there. How dare our children not be exactly like us? They have their own life. They have their own bullshit. You got to let them have it.
So when they're boomers,
Yeah.
I know you hate that term, but when they're boomers, they're gonna be like the kids these days. They don't even like paying $6.99 for the best value. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the kids these days?
Yeah, what's wrong
When
with these
I
kids?
was a kid, best value was $100 locked in. Okay,
That's right.
none of these $300 best values.
Doesn't make any sense. These kids today. They won't be called boomers then, though. Boomers are a generation, or is that going to carry on? Just be anybody
it'll
thinks
carry
someone
on,
sees
I
as
think.
old.
I think
Okay.
Maybe
that's-
for a while.
I
at
think it's
least.
gonna be a forever term. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe
All right.
not. It could pass.
All right. Well, we'll see
If,
how it
if
goes.
a better word comes along that's more triggering, that'll take over. Whatever that is, you know.
Oh, good point. Whatever triggers most is where we stay, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the Streisand effect of.
If all of a sudden
names.
everybody calls them millennial falcons and that catches on big, they'll be like, oh yeah,
I hope it does. That'd be great.
a bunch of millennial falcons over there.
Dad, you're such a millennial falcon.
Yeah,
I love that.
there it is.
You like it, so that'll never happen.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's too cool. I picked one that was too good.
I think what they'll end up doing is they'll call everyone who's old Louis Swaz.
Yeah.
Look at those Louis Swaz over there.
Bunch
I like
of Louis
it.
Swaz.
I like it. All right. Well, on that note, how about this here? What? Da, 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 da. We got some extra news to talk about real quick. We'll rip through some of this. BAFTA award winners happened. Baldur's Gate 3 now becoming the first game to win Game of the Year at the Golden Joysticks, the Game Awards, DICE, Game Developers Conference, and now the BAFTAs.
Well, I think they call that making the 7, right?
It's pretty close.
Yes.
How many you got there?
Common phrase, and you locked onto it.
I guess you're making the 5, right?
No, you guys get the reference, right?
No. What is it? What does it mean?
It's it was Robert Baratheon was saying when you sleep with somebody from each of the kingdoms in Westeros, it's called making the 7.
Oh,
I don't remember that.
I didn't remember.
It's like in
it.
season 1. Well, that's what happens when you rewatch Game of Thrones 7 times.
Wow,
Jeez, did you really?
you were not deterred by the end of that show.
Not 7, but probably 4.
I did-
I like Game of Thrones.
I
don't
did
care.
too, and I watched-
The
I did
last
a-
season's bad, but it's good still.
I still think the
Find
last
something
season
better.
the last season, well, the last 2 seasons are better in binge than they were waiting for them. They're not that bad. They're okay.
Yeah, they go down easier with the binge, but and there are definitely problems. But those first 4 seasons, man, are great. And House of the Dragon, it's pretty damn good.
House of the Dragon's great. That's coming back soon.
Season 2 is coming back soon.
Yeah, very excited. Good to see more blonde family members banging all the time. It's going to be great.
Yeah. But
what
congrats!
we
It was
there
all
for.
looked like all the usual winners too. It wasn't just Baldur's
Well,
Gate 3.
I
Alan
thought
Wake
you would
2
be
and-
excited about this one, Bo, because they gave a special recognition at the BAFTAs
Oh,
to Andrew Wincott for his performance as Raphael in Baldur's
Perfect.
Gate 3.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I know they're all great. All right, we're not choosing favorites here, but Raphael is among is It's just funny people don't talk about it. Probably because most people haven't finished Act 1, is my assumption. And so Astarion gets all,
they finally did it. They're like, whoa.
Astarion gets all the love, but man, that boss music, just the level of performance, best devil in the game by far.
Oh, he's
So
a great
good.
devil. Yeah, he's amazing. And since you wrote that devil and no one gave you credit, you probably feel pretty good about that win. You know,
What?
because I feel like that character was in our campaign.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean,
I realize some of those
So,
themes are forever
those themes are
but,
the
you
devil
know.
themes are kind of a D&D staple, I think, for the most part. I did the big bad Asmodeus, or
Yeah.
Asmodeus, I can't remember, but like he would definitely, the devils are literally like that. They play with their food and torment. That's the delicious part.
Yeah.
Because in my evil playthrough, I part of it was like, okay, Raphael's like, I'll give you a ton of power, just sell your soul, and I'm like, cool, let's do it. Oh, show me where to sign. He's like, no, you're not suffering yet. You need to be in the throes of torment before I'll give you something. I was like, that's awesome. Like, he's not like, I thought maybe there was a shortcut to power because this game has a lot of
Yeah.
variability, and he's like, no, he's a devil. He's like, I want it to hurt
Yeah.
when you ask me for my help, and I'm just like, oh damn.
How are
Game's
those
so good.
How are those guys going to top themselves for their next game? How are they going to do it?
Might not happen. It might not happen. We talk about lightning in a bottle, and there's just a lot that went right with this game.
Yeah.
So,
For sure. Let's see. Fallout TV show getting critical praise, reviewing extremely well. I watched the first episode and 3/4 of the second, as much as I
saw the
could.
first episode.
And Bo, you haven't seen any of it yet, right? The Fallout
no,
show.
but this one will be on the BEAU watch list. I'm definitely interested in this. So
There's not a
I'll
lot
get
to spoil. I won't spoil anything, even if it's not seemingly spoilers, because we're
It's not
very
all out
early.
yet, right?
It's all out. They do it all at once. So this one's the whole season.
What? There's
Yeah.
a binge? Wait, oh,
Not
snap.
very common for Prime. I don't know why they chose to do it with this one, but they did. So far, I think there's a couple cool things going on here. I think the tone is extremely dead on to what I think of when I think of that game. And I mean everything from the serious bits of it to the humorous bits of it, the suddenly violent bits. There's stuff in there where you just go, oh yeah, I felt this in those Bethesda games before.
This is probably one of the most faithful video game adaptations I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Including somebody getting hurt and then stabbing themselves with a syringe to heal.
Yeah.
Like, and then running around later like it's fine.
Yeah.
Genuinely faithful to the material in a way that, like, people have been saying this, just to go on a quick side tangent.
Yeah.
People right now, there's like a celebration on the internet because in Deadpool and Wolverine, we've seen our first images of Wolverine in the full, yellow classic costume, and everybody's like, they said it would never work. They said it couldn't be done. But they're doing it and it looks good. I kind of feel like this is sort of a similar situation where it's like, they said you can't adapt a video game. You got to change it. You got to make it appropriate for movies and TV. You can't do it the way it was. And now a show is doing it and people are, celebrating it. And I think, like, maybe pay attention to this if you're doing, say, a Halo TV show or, I think, Last of Us did the thing that everybody kind of complains about, which is, we took the spirit of the material and we made something new with it, but they stayed faithful enough. I feel like Fallout is showing that you can be ridiculously faithful to the source material and it is still good.
So that being
and it
said,
can
though,
still work.
they're being incredibly faithful to the source material as a whole, but the story they're telling is new.
Yeah.
And that I like a lot. It's I didn't want a rehash of what I don't remember most of the story of 3. I remember a lot of the story of New Vegas.
There's a lot of garbage in those stories, like getting a guy that's immune to radiation on your team right before a mission where you have to go into a radiation environment, and he's like, I will not take your destiny away from you. Well, no, I'd rather not die. Go flip the goddamn switch.
Yeah, I forgot about that guy. No, you're right. Like, they're telling, so I'm getting two things at once. I'm getting this shot of nostalgia and love for what I already liked about the source material, and I'm also getting told a story I'm not ready. I'm not ready for because I don't know it. And so all these characters and stuff, but it's all within a world that is being given to me very faithfully from the games. So far so good. I think everybody's really good in it, and nobody. This isn't a spoiler, but nobody told me that we were going to have like a freaking halfway justified reunion in this movie. Like already twice now that I can point to. There are multiple justified actors in this thing. One of them's obvious; he's in the cast. But it's like, whoa, what are they doing? Bringing the whole party back together. But anyway, so far so good. Bo, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I love me some Walton Goggins. I'm not a big Fallout player, but I'm there for a good video game adaptation. Yeah. So if everyone's saying it's good, I believe it.
Yeah. And Goggins,
I'm curious because I don't know as much about the show, so I'm curious what I'll feel like watching it.
Goggins is elevating material, in my opinion. He's great.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah. All right. There's that. What else? More on that as we watch more of it, I guess. Microsoft and Blizzard. Oh, I got here. Let me play this to celebrate this.
Hello, China.
Microsoft and Blizzard made a new deal with NetEase to return services to China for World of Warcraft, Overwatch, other stuff. The only thing that was already going there was they already had a deal in place for Immortal. But if you remember, even on the show, we talked about it. Famously, the office over there tore apart like an Overwatch statue or something like that.
Giant Gorehowl statue got torn down.
Oh, that's what it was.
They were mad. They were angry.
They were pissed. Yeah. I thought that was a burned bridge. I didn't think they were going to get back from that. But new management, Microsoft's good part of this communication.
You know what fixes burned bridges, Scott?
Money?
Money to buy new bridges.
Yeah.
Turns out money can fix a super burned bridge.
Yeah. And so now there's photos of these guys, the NetEase president and the Microsoft lady over there shaking corporate hands in their corporate suits, looking all corporate-y, and that's all coming back to China. So there you go. Mended fences, everybody. Also, we're not going to get a Dead Space 2 remake or a new Dead Space movie. So just forget about Dead Space. The reason this is happening, the game sold 2 million copies. The remake. I thought
a failure.
That should be still considered a massive success. I don't know where we are now where that isn't. That wasn't enough, so they canceled plans for a 2 remake.
That's crazy, really?
I know.
That's
really bums me out.
The initial report was that plans for the Dead Space 2 remake had been canceled, that the new report from internal sources is that there was never plans for a Dead Space 2 remake, that the studio had hoped that they were going to make a new Dead Space game. Then word came in from EA that they didn't feel it sold well enough, and they have been on another project ever since. So there was never going to be a Dead Space 2 remake. There was hope for a new Dead Space game, and EA axed it. Instead, they're working on an Iron Man game and more Battlefield.
I think it would have been okay if they did a new game. Like I'm not mad that it wasn't Dead Space 2 remake. Like if they would have said Dead Space, I don't know, Season of Discovery,
Deader Space, Dead Spaces,
Deader Spaces.
Yeah. If they would have just branched differently, like cool, because whatever that team did, they nailed the first, the remake. It is solid.
It's so good. Yeah.
And what is wrong? I
know it makes me so mad.
It's like no one wants another Deus Ex game. Let's not make it. Same deal. Like what is
success? The level of success.
Why can't they just be like, man, it didn't sell enough. Let's make another one because it sold 2 million copies. But let's make it a little better and try. Stick with it.
Remember
Who's
when
making the decisions at EA?
Do you remember when a million copies of anything guaranteed sequels and franchise? I mean, that was not that long ago.
It was celebrated. This is why I keep saying AAA bubble burst. I'm gonna say it till it happens.
It's happening, John, right now. It's
happening right now. You can sell 2 million copies of a video game, get it critically acclaimed, get it on plenty of best of 2023 awards, a year that had some of the best video games ever, and it was still recognized as top of its class. And you can still be a game where someone goes, it's disappointing. We're going to have them do Battlefield instead.
Yeah.
And just so you know, everybody out there. When you buy a microtransaction, you're enabling this. I'm not saying you're a bad person, but look at yourself in the mirror and understand you are part of the machine that's allowing this bullshit to happen.
Right.
Every time you go, well, my horse could be prettier. Yeah, it could. And it's your money to do with what you want. But every time you do it, you kill dead space a little bit more. So just keep that in the back of your head.
Holy shit! It's not Dear Martha anymore. It's
Dear Soapbox. Well, hold on, John. But you wouldn't.
Dear
What if
Abraham Lincoln?
Let's do a hypothetical. Somebody comes back to you in the YouTube comments or something and says,
Yeah.
Well, didn't John just buy that stupid Aang thing in
Fortnite? I'm a hypocrite about it.
Yeah.
I killed Dead Space just as much as anybody else. Everybody is killing Dead Space right now.
It's not a hypocrite thing. It's look, there's a reason why they put like all that bullshit at the cash register, right? Like you go into the store, you go to Walmart, you're like, I want a toaster. Yeah. You get a toaster, and then there's these tabloids, there's little pieces of gum and chocolate and bullshit. They put that there because you had no intention of buying it. You had a plan.
Yeah.
But there's this thing called ego depletion. Like your ability to control yourself wanes over the course of the day and wanes when it is attacked. I know it's like some conspiracy theory boomer shit or whatever to be like, they're out to get me. They want my money. They want my wallet. But like, they do. That's why they put all that stuff at the cash register. That's its purpose there. Yeah. They decided it goes there because it is a good vector of attack on your ability to keep your money from coming out of your wallet.
And they have tons of data to support that it works.
Yes.
It's not you don't go in there and single-handedly topple their plans when you avoid the Coke in the fridge.
Yeah, you can't dismiss anyone's argument just because they're human. And set your ego aside. We're all gullible to some degree. That line is in the sand everywhere for everyone. Some people are really good about it. Some people are okay about it, like John, and some people are terrible with it, like me. And that doesn't mean that you can approve. It doesn't mean you don't have anything to stand on when making an argument. So, John, you're not a hypocrite.
Absolutely.
You're a human being. People are attacking you psychologically, and
hypothetically, they're attacking.
We all let hits through. Like nobody's armor is indefensible.
Well, and that's why I tried to make it clear. I'm not saying like. I'm not trying to make people feel bad. We all do this. There are things that all get each and one of us. But I think what we are ultimately getting better at is saying we're not going to put up with. It's like I always said, you'll know when you feel like you're being taken advantage of, right? That's what we said before Diablo 4 came out, and there was all this. Yeah. There's a store. They're going to sell cosmetics. Is it good? Is it bad? And I said then, you will know if you're being taken advantage of. And you know what? I opened that store. I looked at the armor I had at the end of the game. I looked at the armor in the store and I went, oh, look at them taking advantage of people. Like, you can tell. And as long as a game is giving you a good experience and you feel good about the video game, you will feel good about giving them money. Where it is falling apart, where we all universally need to do better, is when someone is feeding you bullshit and you're happily paying them for it.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I also don't think you're a hypocrite. And also, keep your emails to yourselves, everybody. Just kidding. You can say whatever you want.
You can say.
Let's move to this story. It's a quick one. Ubisoft Star Wars game. We're not getting into Jawgate. F that. We're going to talk instead about how expensive this freaking game is. You don't want to know.
There's people that don't want to buy the game because the main character, they don't find her attractive enough.
They don't think she's cute enough, so they won't buy it. Incel porn addicts, John, Bo, that's what they are.
These are people that play God of War. I know. They play Halo. They play Gears of War, not the one with the lady. They play Mario. They play manly games with men, and they are not going to play a game with a video game character they don't want to fuck.
Yeah, I'm leaving that in. There's no way I'm censoring that.
No, that people need to hear that shit, because I saw your interaction with the user, and I thought we want to call him out that the rogue was not fuckable, basically. So he he couldn't get behind Rogue, and I was like, dude, you're just reporting that you're fat material. Like, it's like, stop it.
Oh my gosh, John.
I'm gonna say this. I thought that interaction
It was wholesome. It wasn't
fine.
bad, this goes down to the whole misogyny thing, where it's like the value of a woman is how attracted you are to her, and when they get like normal looking or they're not to your preference, then they're like worthless, and that sucks, man. That's just like,
I think there's a disingenuous argument behind it. Like, if you want to play a game with an attractive character, that's fine. If you want to play a video game with a character you don't find attractive, that's fine too. What bugs me is that there's a disingenuous nature to it, because I think a lot of the people pissed off about it fall into two camps. One that's going to play it anyway and complain about it, and one that wasn't going to ever play about it but really want to make sure that you know their opinion on it.
Yeah, or there's a third tier, which are just rage farming, and that's it. That's honestly a huge part of it. Yeah. So I've been trying not to give them too much oxygen, but
so if you don't want to play it because you don't like the look of the character, that's fine. It's like the same Twitter interaction I had. I watched Dune because it's a movie with sand in it. People don't do things for a lot of stupid reasons, myself included, and I think that is 100% fine. We are not in a world where you need to honestly justify your decisions.
Yeah,
you're allowed to like what you like.
You can what you like and not like what you don't like. That's 100% fine.
Yeah.
I get a little annoyed sometimes when, to use the old phrase, when people are pissing on my head and telling me it's raining, though, because sometimes there is a bit of a lie there.
Yeah.
Just to get clicks.
Sorry, I know you didn't want to get into it, but I think it is important to. I know it's cheesy to be a good role model and tell incels to knock it off.
No, they suck. They already know how I feel. They're a bunch of puds.
I know you're probably trying to avoid emails, but
I don't care. Send them in. I feel like our stance already should be obvious. If it's not, then I worry about those people. But like there was somebody.
It feels good to say it, and I think people like hearing it, even if it's
So everyone just freaking knock it off. What you should be mad about is how expensive these versions of Star Wars Outlaws is.
Yes. This is the part you should be mad at. Forget how the character looks. Here's where you should get angry.
Here's where you should be mad. So you
got angry about your money, guys.
Yeah. You got a standard edition, which is going to be the base game only, whatever that includes, $70. That's normal. We're used to that now. Gold edition, 118. Hold on. 129. Is that right? For the gold, or is that the full blown? Let me see. Early access 40.
They released a graph, which again, we're in the stupid era of you need a damn graph to figure out which. There it is.
I can't find which the middle tier is. Ultimate is 130.
There's standard, gold, and ultimate.
Yeah. And ultimate
and
is.
I believe there's a physical version too, because that also got a lot of people upset.
Yeah.
Okay.
They featured a tweet where a guy says, anytime I see charts like these, it just makes me think, I can't wait to buy this full game for $20 years later. Like, that is what a lot of people do. They wait for the Ultimate Edition, which is all this shit for, $49 and they're done.
I want to make a deal with the AAA gaming industry.
Do it.
I think we all do. All right. We'll take your higher tiers of games. All right. But when they're successful, stop bitching that you didn't make enough money, because even Dead Space had a deluxe edition, and people for sure bought the deluxe edition.
Oh, of course.
If you're going to sell tiers of your games,
and
then send millions, then don't complain that it didn't make enough money and you're canceling it. You know what I mean? Like
I get it.
They shouldn't be, but I get it. Some people are fans and want to give them their money, and I feel like maybe that's okay. But it's mostly these games that turn around and complain they didn't sell well enough. Well, why'd you sell expensive versions of it?
Yeah, that nobody could afford.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the 70 base one, I suspect that's just, that's baseline.
That's
but this
what our baseline video games are these days.
Yeah, but 130. But good Lord, dude. But whatever.
Ridiculous, eh? Yeah,
it seems crazy to me. I don't know why we're surprised though, because it's just happening everywhere. They're getting especially hit by it because I think Ubisoft's just a good target these days.
Sure.
I target them for all sorts of problems. But the funny thing here is that I just noticed on Amazon you can get a 6-month payment plan for any of these editions if you'd like. So that's where we're at with games.
Yep.
What? Wait,
Yeah.
like an Affirm or what is it? What
Yeah,
it's Affirm,
yeah.
right?
Get it on your credit
Like, it's
score
like
that you paid
Legend
off
of
your
Zelda, $257
Yeah.
or $25 a
game.
month with Affirm. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
It's basically it. It's basically it.
I think that my biggest problem with this stuff is that some of the content that you're getting in these Ultimate Editions, again, just to let me wear whether you want to go as hard as hypocrisy or not, but I'll use it anyway. Well, let me wear my hypocrisy on my sleeve here for a moment. I worked really hard and successfully got the collector's edition for the physical collector's edition for the Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail expansion. Pre-ordered, paid extra money for it. You know what I'm getting with that expansion and that deluxe edition? I do, because 100% of what I paid for is advertised and in the box or a digital item. What bugs me about this is actually no, but
All right.
We'll earmark that for later, please.
yeah, we can come back to that one later. It's not in the box. Funny you should ask.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's discounted so that you can buy it digitally. That aside, the Star Wars game, a lot of the stuff they're selling is DLC content.
Yeah.
That give you a title. You get the Jabba's touching his tail, Salacious Crumb pack. Like, here it is. What is that? How much content is there? How much gameplay value is in there? Is that a battle arena? Is that a story? Is that key to the video game? You don't know a damn thing about it, but please pay us extra money for it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. No, you're right. It sucks. I don't love it. I know this though. I am still excited about that game. Like, I do want to play it. I need to hear some reviews and some people I trust and stuff, but for the most part, I want to play that game, but I'm not buying $100 gold version, and I am definitely not buying $130 digital freaking deluxe ultimate edition. F that. You ain't getting that cash.
I think like a lot of people said, I will either play the base game or I'll see it when it's on sale in a couple months, like most Ubisoft titles.
Yeah. Which is a thing they should account for over there more than they are. All right. Microsoft and Xbox said they are full speed ahead on their next generation console. So if anybody thought they were pulling out of hardware, turns out they're not at all. In fact, they're claiming a big generational leap with what they have planned. They didn't release any specs. This is all early talk, but their exact quote was, Xbox is already talking about their next gen consoles, calling them, quote, the biggest technological leap ever in a generation of consoles. There's a whole email thing. They talked about AI, of course, because everybody is. And if you thought Microsoft was out, they're in. I don't know why people thought they were out. They were always in. Let's see. What's this one? 333 initiative was awesome. What is this?
I.
The Triple I thing. I knew about this.
Yeah.
Sorry, this went in late and I didn't see it in the notes. This is great. Let me pull it up here. We got all the announcements on this link, right? Let's see.
Can I tell you one of the things that I'm like most excited for, even though it's DLC and it's goofy, is Vampire Survivors Operation Guns DLC, which is putting a bunch of Contra characters into Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, even when I saw that famous Vampire Survivors hater, Bo here, hello. I thought this was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks ridiculous.
Yeah, it looks cool. I also noticed on here they're doing a lot of other crossover stuff. Risk of Rain 2 is getting an update with the Dead Cells dude. You get to be him. They showed the Slay the Spire 2 reveal trailer, which looked like they might actually have an art style this time around. Don't know. Can't tell. It's just in the cinematic.
Yeah, I mean, it still looks like Slay the Spire, but I will say this, like, Slay the Spire is one of my all-time favorite video games.
Oh, it's
like,
incredible.
While I may not, I don't think I'd put a poster of any of that art on my wall. That game sure is good.
Yeah.
That's a big one. I'm so stoked for Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that played it, but Undermine 2 is interesting to me. I like the first one. It's a good little roguelike. And What the Car, I've already played that on phone. Have you guys seen that at all? It's like What the Golf. It's the same people. It's just, you think you're playing a racing game at first, and then it goes bananas, and just you lose your mind. It's really good, actually. But it's already kind of out, so I'm not sure why that got on here. Let's see. What else?
I thought this game, I don't know if it was shown on the show, because I didn't watch the stream, but I've been like looking at stuff that came out of it. This Gestalt, Steam, and Cinder.
Oh yeah.
Looks really good. Every time I see footage of this game, I think, oh, what is that game? And it always ends up being this game. So it keeps telling me that maybe I'm interested in this bit of business because I keep seeing clips of it and going, oh, what's that game? I want to play that. And it's always this.
Oh yeah. Where have I seen this before? Oh yeah, look at that, dude. So I assume this is Metroidvania, deal. It looks good.
Yeah.
Looks real good. Reminds me
just
of
like the art
Aria
style.
of Sorrow a little bit. I'm getting that vibe.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? What's the other one I saw that looked interesting? Oh, Raven's Watch is getting an update called Fall of Avalon.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love Raven's Watch. It's a good game.
Cool game. Happy to hear that.
I'm stoked for that.
Cat's Quest 3, Brotato Abysmal Terrors DLC. Brotato's awesome. I freaking love that game. Let's see. There's a brand new DLC expansion for the old world called The Throne. Let's see. Is it just called The Throne? Behind the Throne. I like that game.
Old World that's the strategy game.
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's not the MMO.
No. Yeah, we've been having this conversation
It's
for a long
New
time.
World Classic. It's called the Old World.
That's right.
That's their classic version. Play it the way it released.
What'd you think
Broken
of the?
and unable to move surfers.
Did anyone else besides me play Wizard of Legend? Because that game's cool, and they're making a sequel to that.
No, I didn't play it, but I'm interested.
Yeah,
I should try the first one.
I liked it. It was good. V Rising Castlevania crossover DLC, of course, it makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't they?
Does anyone know anything about the Darkest Dungeon update? Too?
Oh, I didn't see that.
They're adding a whole new game mode, and I'm like, I skipped Darkest Dungeon 2, and I'm like, I should play it, and now they're getting a whole new game mode, and I'm like, oh shit! Like,
What are they doing? Let's see. Oh, it looks like it's like a roguelike mode. What are they doing here?
I missed that part of when I watched the video. I guess I didn't see that.
It's a free update. I own this, so I look forward to it, but I don't know what they're doing.
Also, that game Mouse looks crazy.
Mouse? Is it? Let's see. Where is that? Get out of here, Brotato. I don't see this mouse thing that you're referring to.
Just search for it on Steam. It was under the III heading, but I don't know. Again, I don't know if it was shown on the show.
Steam. It's up there for wish listing. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, the shooter, dude. Yeah. This looks so cool. This is the one that looks like somebody in the 20s made a first-person shooter. It's that style of animation.
Yeah.
What's it called? Mouse?
Mouse.
I think it looks awesome. I mean, it looks like a cartoon. This is like shooter.
There's a whole Steam page for it, actually. It's all the games together. That's cool.
Yeah, this game looks awesome.
Oh, this looks neat. Yeah, it looks like Steamboat Willie, but a shooter.
Yeah. It'd be funny if they use Willie, because now it's open source.
Oh, yeah, they kind of do. Some of the enemies look Mickey Mouse-ish, actually.
They're clearly going
Well,
for
it's called Mouse. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
all
It
coming
looks
together.
it's bloody, blowing heads off the guy. It looks great. I'm stoked about this. I saw this
Yeah,
somewhere
it
else
actually
prior to
looks
this. It just
awesome.
looks great. Also, you shoot with your hands as your basic weapon if you run out of ammo on the bigger one.
Oh, it's the finger gun?
Yeah,
Pew, 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 pew.
and it works. I also noticed there's a new Prince of Persia game
Persia.
called The Rogue Prince of Persia. And it looks like a roguelike, but it's Prince of Persia. It's super colorful, and I don't know. It looks all right. I think I didn't even talk about it. I played a ton of that this week. Not a ton.
The more recent one that came out.
Yeah, a friend sent me a code, says you got to play it. And I said, all right, let's do it.
It's good.
And it is good. It's really good so far. And when I
I'm
saw
surprised
this,
nobody talked about it. It came out, no one said anything about it. But I mean, granted, I only played it for one day and I didn't go back to it, so I'm part of the problem too. But
What game is that?
it was really
the
cool.
new Prince of Persia thing that came out a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
What's the full name of it?
I didn't even hear about it.
Well, anyway, a lot of people think it's the best thing Ubisoft's done in years. And I like it so far. But then this trailer hit and I went, is this DLC? Is this it reminded me of that time when Far Cry got that weird cyberpunk
Oh, the Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon thing, and I thought, is that they're doing something like that? And then the animation turns to the actual gameplay, and it appears to be like a roguelike
It's
spin.
just a completely different game. Like Ubisoft, we just criticized them. Let me give them a little praise now. At least they're making the game. And like they are not afraid to put out 2 Prince of Persia video games in the same year. Like at least they're out there doing it and trying and seeing what hits and what misses. So good on them for that.
Good on them for trying. Seems neat,
maybe
though.
Figure out some of the other practices behind the scenes. But yeah, this looks really cool and compelling too. So
It's very colorful, very animated. The style of it, you can tell he gets resurrected after a death in the short film part of this, and then the actual game just looks like, I don't know what to compare this to. It reminds me of, is it like if Mobius made a roguelike? I can't explain it. Mobius, the artist, the French artist. It's very, these colors, these blues and these reds and stuff. It's just very, very French comic. I don't know. Can't put my finger on the style, but looks neat.
Yeah, there was so many cool shit. It's worth the watch, I think, for anyone to go check it out. This whole III thing.
Yep. Go check it out.
III Initiative. Just Google that in your YouTube. Also, another one that looked interesting. Do you guys see the Dino Lords?
No. What is Dino Lords? Tell me more.
It looked like a medieval city builder, like pretty standard. You build a castle, you cut down trees, build houses, and you got these medieval knights. And at the end of the trailer, a Viking on a dinosaur comes in and attacks your castle. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Whoa.
It's called Dino Lords. So I'm like, okay.
Dino Lords. Like
yeah,
Dino
Lords. Yeah,
That's
it's on Steam.
kinda
Just
cool.
look it up on Steam.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Check out the trailer. It looks badass.
Oh, look at that.
Like, it's like, okay, a city
And
builder.
look at building walls, Scott.
I love
walls.
it. Yeah, turtle up, baby. Turtle up.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a city sim. I mean, it's like even farthest frontiers like that. You put up walls to keep the
Yeah, but John's point
bandits out.
is whenever he and I would play any RTSs, our first goal is to make as many walls as possible. I play
Layers
very
of walls.
defensive, just very defensive player. This looks like, I'd see this and say, oh, Age of Empires, and then wait, where are the dinosaurs? Let's see here. We got.
It's about
here we
40
go.
seconds in. Yeah. So yeah, the dinosaurs come and smash down your walls, and it's like,
Okay.
what's going on? Yeah, I don't know. It looks like an indie. I don't know. It looks good. Looks like it might even have multiplayer. I see 2 players. I don't know.
I could get into this, whatever this is.
There's something going on with this game that's like, it's a little bit gas station simulator, a little bit Age of Empires. It's like,
I don't even know what to make of it, but I like it. Dino Lords. All right, I'm in. Something creative and new. You know what? AAA thriving, AAA taking a poop, III thriving. There you
that
go.
whole run, there isn't like, it's all gas, I guess is what I would say. Like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Not every game's gonna be for you, but everything was pretty cool. Like, honestly.
Bo, there's a new WoW mod, VR mod. You gonna try it?
Yeah, well, I just saw that on Twitter today, so I'm like, I think I have to.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft. I think I gotta try raiding.
Yeah.
Tanking a raid in VR seems like a great idea.
Yeah, why not? They did this some time ago. You could mess with something back in the
Vorpex. I did it on Vorpex a long time ago,
Yeah.
but Vorpex is behind a huge paywall, and it was never great. So usually the community in these days, in the 2020s, get the community to make a good mod, and it'll be great. So we'll see. I'm probably gonna give this a try.
You gonna stream it? Probably stream it.
Yeah, maybe. I think I'm sort of quasi serious about. I don't think it's going to be this Saturday, guys. So Core Guild, don't worry about it. But I do want to tank a raid or tank something in VR. It'd be kind of funny.
Nice.
I think I'd stream it too. Yeah,
I like it.
Hilarious.
Well, there you go. We got to do some correspondence. Some people have written in.
That's a good question.
Yep, they did. 801-471-0462. Got this message from Rick. Rick wrote in and says, Core Crew, played a game you might want to check out. Haven't heard you talk about it. Sounds like a Scott game. Blood Bowl 3. Goblins playing football. That's not the name or subtitle. That's just what they do. D&D turn-based with dice. Made me think of what Blood Bowl from TWBD would have been like. Love the show. Rick, I played 1 and 2. I have 1 and 2. I don't know if I played 1, but I have 2 and played 2. 3 was systematically torn apart by reviewers when it came out. I don't know how it is now, but it was a mess at launch. I wouldn't mind checking back in because I do like it. It's basically turn-based fantasy football. Well, that's the wrong term for it. A fantasy setting form of football. And it's based on the tabletop thing. The Blood Bowl's like been played forever. Warhammer people do that game on tables. This is just the video game version of it. 2 is highly thought of. 3 just got slammed. So I don't know. I'll have to check into it. But thank you for the reminder. Cyrenex says, I could have probably read this earlier when we talked about Slay the Spire, but he says this: Slay the Spire was announced with early access release window sometime next year. I know you take issue with the art style, but the quality of the game play and the level of impact on gaming itself are significant. Slay the Spire is also one of the few games I've bought on multiple platforms and have played multiple hundreds of hours on those multiple platforms. Needless to say, I am incredibly excited about this. Yours in this life and the next, Sean, aka Cyrenex. Nice nod to Martha there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done the same thing. I own this on my iPad, my Switch, Steam, and maybe that's it.
Damn.
Yeah, Slay the Spire is amazing. It's a great game.
It's good. Yeah, it's just the art we take issue with, you know.
Yeah, I hate the art style. Freaking can't stand it.
And and I wish Hearthstone would release a new one because those are pretty good too.
Those were all right.
Anyway.
Yeah, that was their answer to that, right? That felt like them going. You know.
I don't know the exact history, so it could be wrong. But it felt like as a player, when Kobolds and Catacombs came out, and they had the dungeon run, it was like, oh, this is an awesome idea. And they did a few more, and then Slay the Spire came out. So I think the genesis of these ideas come from. They might not be the first, but for me, it was like Hearthstone was doing this. And then
Man,
Slay
I
the Spire
loved
came
Kobolds and Catacombs.
It was
so
good.
Yeah.
It was
That's
really
the
good.
most I ever liked Hearthstone.
It's the most
no.
I played it.
Yeah, probably true for me too.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 of those solo adventures. I think they did one with like Worgen, and then
I played the second one they did, and I didn't like it as much. And
I think Rakistan's Rumble might be one, but it's not as good. But the one that's really good is the Uldum one, and then there's one where you play as the evil guys heisting Dalaran Heist or something like that.
Are these still playable? Can you play these?
I played them 2 weeks ago. That's what started me on the deck builder thing. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're actually like awesome. And I think they're just free to play. I don't even think you have to buy anything. You just log into Hearthstone and do the solo adventures. Awesome.
Well, there's your problem. They didn't make millions of copies, so therefore not a success. They had to move on to make other dumb stuff.
Well, I think it was to bring people into the game to spend money, but I guess whatever.
Ybarra was like, "This isn't making enough. Make mercenaries. That'll do it."
Oh, mercenaries! Oh, such a travesty.
Piece of poop. That whole thing was a piece of poop. They tried to make a gotcha game within Hearthstone. It's terrible.
Yeah.
An email for Bo, I think, isn't it? No, it's not. Here's some information about Sebastian's email. This came to us at talktothecore@gmail.com, and it says, "Hey, Scott, Bo, and John, quick update on the Unreal Tournament being taken off Steam. One of my in-laws has worked for Epic for years, and I asked him about it. He said that the project got shut down to move more manpower to Fortnite, and there are no plans to move them back going forward. Thanks for the endless crowd or great entertainment, Sebastian." Well, that's what I suspected and had heard from other sources, but now we know. F those guys. Take some of your money.
Here's what you do. Go back to them and say, if you have a passion for Unreal, there's got to be some people there that still have passion for Unreal.
Guaranteed.
Pitch it as a Fortnite. Like, it doesn't have to be the full season. Pitch it as a Fortnite thing where they can, like, the guns are already designed. They don't have to go through it. They can put the lightning gun. That's different. But what is it? The blaster for Instagib. Like, they can put all these things in there. The Redeemer. All these things can fit right into a Fortnite season really easily. Bunch of skins. Let it do really good and build interest back up in that brand. And then they can release a new Unreal game on top of it.
Yep.
It's money on money. The Fortnite people will spend money on anything. So just make an Unreal thing in Fortnite. People buy it and then go, hey, remember that thing in Fortnite? Now it's its own game, and they'll buy that too.
Yeah, I'm with you. Make the game. Like you always say, make the game. What's the problem?
I had one reaction to this too, which is just on a different thread, but whenever we can have your critiques of Blizzard or whatever. But the one thing I do respect about that company is I'm never worried their games are going anywhere.
Yeah.
And this is pretty normal for most companies to remove these games eventually to move the people to other stuff. And I think it's lame as shit.
It is lame. I hate it. Although they did that with Heroes, nobody's on there. There's like one guy on there.
No, but they're running the game. Like they even added Diablo 1, Warcraft 1 and 2 now to the service. Like they keep the games will still run. Like the online components still function.
Right.
And they will. I just feel like when everyone shuts down their games, Blizzard games will still be available online. Say what you will about other things, but
yeah.
I wish more companies took it seriously to keep their games online and foster them.
I agree. That would be nice. Thanks for your feedback and your comments, everybody. You know how to get a hold of us. Please do. Also, a reminder that we are supported by you over at patreon.com/core show. People like Chris Castle, Pasta Matt, and Lewis Casper. They're just three.
Why are you called Pasta Matt?
I would like to know more about Pasta Matt and why they call you that. But I'm really glad that they're here because they get no commercials. They get all kinds of post-show content, pre-show content, monthly benefits that you can only get by being a patron. We tell you about it all the time. Now's the time. Get off that fence, put your foot in the pool, and enjoy the warm water. It's patreon.com/core show. Do it today.
It's poo free.
That's right. No poo in our pool. Bo has not lake run in our pool.
Thank you for not lake running in the pool.
Exactly. Frogpants.com/core is our website. That's for everything else. I think it's going to do it. We need Grandma, though. She's an old lady, but she remembers stuff like what we played today so that you at home won't forget. Grandma, take it away.
I do remember what they talked about today, and if you don't remember, let me tell you. Scott played Dead Island 2. It was on Game Pass, so he didn't even have to pay for it. He got it for free, sort of. He also played Final Fantasy XIV. That's right, Scott played Final Fantasy XIV, Ugly Dragons and all.
Yeah.
He also played Spell Rogue, Balatro, and Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. John played NieR Replicant version 1.22474487139.
Yeah.
He also played Fortnite, Granblue Fantasy Relink, and also Balatro. That's a 2 for 3 right there.
Uh-huh.
Bo played World of Warcraft.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic, Grandma.
Classic.
I don't play that retail shit. Just classic, man.
Forget it. Bo, did you ever get into the Jumble Force or whatever? What's the
Jumble Force?
what's the thing? The 100
No,
players.
that's Jumble Force.
Is
That's
that like the
three of us.
Canadian Armed Forces or something? What is that?
The Jumble Force.
What's it called? Plunder boat or what is it? Plunder field. Plunder
I'm never
storm.
telling you 'cause I want you to-
Plunder storm. I got it.
I want you to make guesses.
Did you ever try it? That's the name for our untitled BR
That's
game.
us. If we were a superhero team, that's us. We're Jumble Force.
Yeah. Welcome to Jumble Force. But did you play
Like,
that
oh
at
no,
all?
we're calling Jumble Force. Oh, this is gonna go bad.
Because you have a sub for all of it. You could try that, right? Have you tried it?
I played Plunder Storm. Yeah, I talked about it a few weeks ago.
I can't remember you talking about that. All right. And it was good. You
Yeah.
liked it. It was okay. It was fun. It was.
I liked it. Yeah, it was. I think the Spellbreak guys might have had something to do with it because there was a Fortnite like with magic spells, and it really feels like magic spells, even though it's not that. But
I kind of like that game. Okay. Now you're making me want to try it.
Plunder Storm's interesting. It's good.
I'll just resub to play it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back next week with more. Thanks, everybody, for waiting a day. One Earth Day. It's very appreciated. And we should be back on the Thursday schedule next week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Stupid, unwise, foolish.
Yeah. More great.
Louis Swap.